Candace Owens had an absolutely massive show today with around 350,000 concurrent viewers, all waiting patiently to see what she has to say about her meeting with Erica Kirk. And it did not go well. I mean, well, if you're talking metrics and having a big show, congratulations, Candace. You've done very, very well for yourself with this massive show. But holy crap, the chat was exploding, calling her sellout. Some people are actually claiming she's a clone, that when she went into this meeting with Erica, they captured her, cloned her, and they've replaced her now because Candace is walking things back, insinuating that Tyler Robinson may actually be the killer, that Charlie didn't mean that they are trying to kill me. He meant the left was trying to kill him, which, yeah, everyone kind of thought. Yeah. And with this backtracking, she is now getting roasted by commenters on X, former audience. They're claiming she's betrayed them, and she got the call. Indeed. So we're talking about that. There is a lot of really big news, however. Donald Trump just sanctioned all oil basically coming out of Venezuela, which is a massive move. We'll talk about that. Then you've got more questions about the Brown shooting. There is a student who seems to have been scrubbed from a whole bunch of these university websites, but they put out a statement saying, this is not the guy. Stop blaming him just because he took his name down, but people are wondering why his name got taken down in the first place. So we'll talk about that. We got a bunch more news, of course. Before we get started, we got a great sponsor. It is Backyard Butchers. My friends, check out backyardbutchers.com/Tim. Enter code TIM at checkout for up to 30% off and free shipping and also a free turkey or ham. Phil, you're on camera.
I am. I'm smiling.
Just smile. This is Backyard Butchers is fantastic. You want to kick big ag out of the kitchen. You want no feedlot mystery meat. You want no big ag chemicals or hormones. You want real rancher-raised beef, and that's what you get with Backyard Butchers. And again, you're going to get a free turkey or ham just in time for Christmas. You got to order soon because you got like a week left. You got to get it now. Go to backyardbutchers.com/Tim. Check it out. And thanks for sponsoring the show. Also, don't forget, go to timcast.com. Click Join Us. Get in the Discord server, my friends. We got a bunch of amazing exclusives for you guys. Our Discord community, they run their own shows. They got a morning show. They got a 6 p.m. show. It's absolutely fantastic. And then, big news. Holy smokes, exclusive Rumble Premium, the official broadcaster for the fight before Christmas with Chase Demore and Andrew Tate. I hope I got his name right. And everyone's really excited because they either want to see Andrew Tate beat the crap out of somebody or get the crap beaten out of him. It's going to be exclusive on Rumble Premium, so use promo code TIM10. Sign up for Rumble Premium. There's going to be, I think it's Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I am super excited for this. I will not be missing this fight. And I got to be honest, I do want Andrew Tate to win. Am I wrong for saying that? I want him to win.
Who's he fighting?
Chase Demore, I think his name is. Am I getting that name wrong?
Sometimes I love Andrew, and then sometimes I'm like,
right.
Okay, if somebody kicks his ass, I won't mind either.
Okay. Anyway, my friends, smash the like button. Share the show with everyone. You know, we got a couple of really great guests joining us tonight. First off, we have Graham Allen.
Thanks for having me, man. It's going to be a good time here in Vegas. Got on a flight, headed here this morning. Good times, ready to go.
Who are you? What do you do?
Sorry, let me pull this thing up here. Can I move this? Is that all right?
You can pull it out. You can swing it around.
We'll do it like this. Graham Allen, I'm a political commentator. I made the horrific mistake. No, I'm just kidding. 12-year Army combat veteran. Just got back from serving in the Department of War for 6 months under Secretary Pete Hegseth. I consult for the Department of War still, and I have a morning show, The Graham Allen Show, right here on Rumble at the 9 a.m. Eastern.
Right on. We also have poker legend Mike Matusow.
Yes, now good to be on. You know, I'm excited to be on. Kind of got out of the house, WPT championship going on. And so I got my butt out of the house. I love politics. I watch your show religiously because you're a stand-up guy.
I appreciate it, man.
You tell the truth. And I have my own podcast, too, called The Mouthpiece Podcast, if you ever want to hear
They call you the mouth?
Yeah, the mouth. If you ever want to hear me talk about poker and politics, that's what I do. So, you know, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Ian is here as well.
He
won at poker today.
I was winning, and then I cut Tim's money for a little bit. Then I gave Tim all my money.
I got it all back.
It was rough, but it was good. We came out ahead as a team. We weren't teaming up, though. I let everyone at the table know that. And if you're wondering, I'm producing Graphene Movie. You can go to graphene.movie, sign up for the mailing list, and get prepared for the trailer, which is coming soon. It's all about graphene nanotechnology coming out of Texas, a lot of solutions for a lot of the economic problems that people have been facing over the last millennia or 100 million years. But, Industrial Revolution 2.0, that's what we're about to hit. So let's be ahead of it when it happens. Phil.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
We got this tweet first off from Colin Rugg. He says, Candace Owens says her meeting with Erica Kirk was productive and says she is very happy that we are on much better feet. Many of her super chatters were not happy with her throughout the show as she shared details about her meeting with Erica. Despite the productive meeting, Owens said she still felt there were shady characters at TPUSA. Toward the end of her show, Owens addressed some of the negative comments and accused the chat of being botted. Take a look at this. One chat says, people may call this dumb, but Candace looking to the right too much. Mikey phone call doesn't add up with her timeline. And WTF are you putting the plain debunking on the website, not YouTube? One says, Fuentes, if you see this, please expose who this actor is and who funds her. You have the green light. One person saying, wow, this breaks my heart. Another says, this is just a word salad. She is rambling. Sad to say, but you are not passing the vibe check. The market is always right, and the chat is overwhelmingly saying you are not the same. Oh, it gets crazier. Candace having to tell her audience she doesn't have the goods is not going well. Here's more. One person says, so in other words, you were wrong about everything you said. Another person says, it wasn't a plane. It was really a flying carpet. Candace has been set up. These bits in the room are next level. Another person saying, is this an apology video for Candace? And here's where it gets real fun. One person saying, Candace Owens has either been cloned or threatened. She is backtracking and backsliding after her productive meeting with Erica Kirk. It's over. Here's one. One person tweeting, this is super suspicious. I think she got cloned. They're officially promoting the new Candace. Another individual says, we will only see a clone of Candace from December 16th onward. It takes 3 months to grow a clone, hence why it took them until now to finally have this meeting. She was a nice girl. I hope her and Ye's clone still get along in the future. I hope that's a joke. I don't think it is.
That's my favorite one.
It's not a joke. How do you deal with this kind of psychosis with people?
With a smile.
When you prey, which is what Candace Owens has done, when you prey emotionally on the most fringe of American society,
The most vulnerable.
the most vulnerable and the most insane and probably eventually the most violent, this is what happens. And we can talk about what really happened in that meeting, but Candace's audience is eating itself. And am I wrong to say it's kind of beautiful to see it at the same time?
It really is. I mean, I was a big Candace Owens fan, big Tucker Carlson fan. I can't believe what I've witnessed, the craziness, the insanity. I mean, 3 months ago, we were flying through the U.S. Everything it was all going right. The Dems were completely dead. There was never going to be. We were going to have all the power, and then her, and I think Tucker also decided, let's see if we could fracture the right as much as we can with craziness, and I just don't know how can anybody believe what's coming.
If I could figure out a way how to recall 50 to 60,000 books, because I have a Candace Owens blurb on the back of one of my books, and I've been trying to figure out how to financially do it, but so far to no avail. It's a weird space for me, just like it is with you, Tim. I know, like we know.
We don't know, but we know.
Well, but
and I know.
But we know all of these people. Like it's so crazy to me when Charlie just started doing his campus tours. We're talking a step and repeat and 2 bar stools type stuff. Me, Charlie, Candace, we were all out there on the road, driving the roads, University of Florida, Ole Miss, Arizona State, all over the country. And to see what has happened, it's been a
he broke it off with her when, around 2019?
Well, she was still doing stuff with Charlie at Turning Point up to like 2024.
Okay. Yep.
But there's a question of. Oh, so I will say this: I've been tweeting quite a bit about Candace because I've got sources. Much like she likes playing these games. Yeah. Obviously, the moment I was not the first to criticize her, but I was the most vulgar, and I think people appreciated that. Though I do think it's fair to say
it a lot.
Maybe I went a little too far. That's fine. But I immediately started having people reach out to me. And a few things I think are really important to point out that Candace is refusing to own up to. And she called me gay, and she called me a bitch. And why did she do that? Because she knows I got the goods. If she wanted to come out and say, this is not correct, here's why it's wrong, she could. Instead, when I said Candace worked with some of the very same people she's accused, And this is undeniable. It's so stupid that she's trying to play this game because she worked at Turning Point.
Yeah.
She worked at Turning Point, so she had the same security as Charlie. And she's like, I never did. I never used the same security. It's an obvious lie. I also know for a fact, because I've seen the texts, she was privately telling people she hated Charlie Kirk like 2 months before he was murdered. So she can't answer to these things. She's dodged these and just said, Tim Pool's gay, he's a bitch. Because she knew the whole time she was lying. This is a case of wielding the one ring. I got to be honest. It is so tempting to put that ring on, to slide it on your finger and get 300,000 concurrent viewers, to be looking at those YouTube numbers, $10 million a year. You just want to put the ring on. It is a gift to use against our enemies. No, you cannot wield it. No one can. And she tried.
Money means nothing in the world. You have to have integrity. You have to have love, and you have to care about people. I don't care what money. I've had millions upon millions, lost it all as a poker player, gotten it back. I know about money.
Sounds like poker.
And I've felt the power of having money. And let me tell you something. I've said it before in poker. Egos will break you. Cards will make you. Stay humble. And I say the same thing in politics.
Andrew Tate has one of the best points. It's very relatable. I'm not trying to humble brag or whatever. Obviously we do well here. But Andrew Tate made a post a while ago where he was like, being rich is just you wake up and try and find a better steak every day. Like it gets to a point where you can do what you want to do. And so you're just, when you're talking to your friends, like, let's try this steakhouse. You're just literally trying to find a good restaurant now.
As long as society holds together, yeah.
That's true. And so we're looking for some good steakhouses while we're out here in Vegas. Because to be honest, the point is this. Whatever it is that Candace was chasing, it's fleeting. You know what I mean? I said this, I go to Occupy Wall Street. I do live streams. Everybody's cheering me. They're cheering for me. They're praising me, saying, oh, Tim, you're so great. And then the moment I call them out on their lies, because I'm calling everybody out, they say, Tim changed. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I was always calling people out for being liars.
Yeah.
The same, it's going to happen. Candace going off in this ridiculous direction, chasing after people who think that it's possible to clone humans in this way, or that Egyptian planes are flying, or whatever it is she was pursuing. It's the one ring. Sooner or later, it fails you, it turns on you, and now she's in trouble. What happens? I'll put it like this. There are certainly some people who watch this show who are probably like, what happened to you, Tim? Candace is asking the real questions, and you betrayed us. And I'm like, yeah,
they say the same thing to me every morning. Right, yeah.
And you know what? Maybe the shooting at our property was related to somebody who thought that we were getting the call or whatever it may be.
I doubt it.
We've gotten threats for a long time, threats to shoot us up. So it could be anything.
It just so happened the day after that, it
was like a week or two after I'd been calling her out.
Right.
And then I really got angry that Monday. My point is this. It's one thing to be on the sidelines, to be accused. It's another thing to be standing in front of that entire mob where she got I think she had like 350,000 concurrent viewers today.
Yeah.
All wondering the truth. And she came out and basically said Erica Kirk was nice. Tyler Robinson probably did it. Israel probably didn't. I got a call from their lawyers. What happens then when they're all staring at you and you betray them? That's going to come back to bite her.
Well, go ahead.
No, the thing is I think it's going to come back to bite her. And hopefully, I pray that maybe it brings her back to sanity, and maybe she doesn't get as many viewers as she loses all those crazy people, but maybe she gets real viewers back and actually puts out the truth somehow. But I just think she's so, like the ring, you hit it right on the nose. She's the power. She's so addicted to it that she'll just say anything.
Yep.
And I loved her. I mean, I watched her. I just can't believe what I've witnessed.
When I said this a while ago, I went on her show when she was at the Daily Wire. I called her a genius. Yeah. I was super impressed with how well-read she was, how quick-witted she was. And then for her to go this direction, I said the whole time, she knows what she's doing.
Of course she does.
It's not an accident. And I have to wonder, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced something like this, but it's like, I guess you can call it like the lottery phenomenon. A regular person, he's a plumber or whatever, he wins the $100 million, and then he blows all the money in a few months. He buys a golden statue of himself because he didn't get to that point. He didn't know how to manage all of that rush of power or whatever it is you get. I think Candace leaving the Daily Wire, being unrestrained, no one was there to tell her not to do something. So when she's at the Daily Wire or she's at Turning Point, she maybe goes, I think Bridget McCone's a man. And then someone goes, well, okay, but let's not go there. and then she gets held back because they won't do the show. This actually happened with Daily Wire, where I can't remember what it was. She wanted to do something with Ye, and the Daily Wire was like, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Then she tried doing the Bridget McCrone thing, and they're like, no, we're taking that down. Because she did it and took it down. She leaves, and now she's unrestrained, and she chases the dragon, and there's no one holding her back.
Yeah.
And so she ran off the cliff.
Well, everybody needs those people in their life, right? Like we're commentators, get it. There are times I want to go off on things unhinged because it gets the most views, the most clicks, the most this, the most that. But you need people on your team, you need people in your life that go, I hear what you're saying. Have you thought about the lawsuits? I hear what you're saying. Have you thought about this? Are we sure?
Do you want to put yourself in an actionable position?
For me-
Correct. Good.
For me, it's real easy. I mean, whenever I start to say anything crazy, I get a call.
Yeah.
And from Israel.
Yes.
And then they just tell me what not to say.
These checks aren't going to write themselves. We got work to do here, fellas, today. So we got.
There are going to be people who take that. That's going to get clipped, and they're going to be like, Tim Pool admitted
It's
he's
Israel.
big.
Everything. If
Just put it on me.
Every time
I said
something
it.
happens,
Yeah, we
can
both
you
said it,
imagine?
yeah.
Every time something happens, it's the Jews.
Everybody's
Yeah.
saying
It's
that
the
the
Jews.
attack in Australia was
It's the
actually
Jews.
the IDF.
You need to understand, Mike, that it's a compliment. They're talking about how smart the Jews are, how capable and hardworking and industrious they are. And that's really what I would always say to these people. I'd be like, I don't understand why you think that there's this small population.
15 million of us in the whole world.
In the whole world. And they are so smart, so hardworking, and so capable, they've taken everything over and you can't stop them.
But
I'm like,
yet-
that is a compliment.
But yet, the people who hate them the most are the most famous people that you can find right now.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the question that I've been asking here lately is why? Because this is what Candace says, right? Well, I'm just asking questions. So I'm just asking a question. How is it that we have, you just said it, 350,000. But even before the Trump administration took over, she was killing it on YouTube, all this other stuff. You faced mass censorship. We all did. Explain to me how YouTube in front of Congress admits that they were actively censoring and or deplatforming conservative voices and dissenting voices, but you have certain people, and you can insert whoever person you think I'm talking about here, besides just Candace. Certain people explode. Certain people grow. Certain people are allowed to say what they want to say, are allowed to do this on YouTube. It makes me question those very people that claim that they're on the same side that we are.
I mean, I agree with you because, like, every time I talked about, because I wholeheartedly believe this 2020 election was stolen, and every time I brought that up or I talked about the vaccine being very bad, boom, strike. You can't say that, or we're taking your. They one more strike and we're taking you down. That's how bad it was with YouTube. And then like Tim just said, how is she able to just go out there and just the Jews, and no strikes?
But my favorite thing is she literally says on her show, if you criticize Israel, you get censored. And I'm like, aren't you bragging about being number one, about having this massive
Where's
stream?
the censorship? Yeah.
You know what I do think, though? I do think that it's not just the conspiracy audience. I think she's getting a good international audience. And you think about how many people around the world don't like Israel. There's a lot of countries that don't like Israel.
Yep.
So
They've always hated us, so it's nothing new.
So I think about this shift. You mentioned it. Let me pull this tweet up. Actually, this is interesting. We've got this post here from Mario Knopfel from December 13th. Tucker, letting people talk a lot reveals who they are. Well, it's not so much about what Tucker said, but the response here from Terrible Timmy, who says red-faced Tucker is a clone. Same exact time they replaced Candace Owens with the cloned mouthpiece of the left we see everywhere. Now she's either a clone or the worst mother I have ever seen. No new mother instantly brings hate and judgment to the new family. Now, the funny thing is, it sounds like this guy is actually critical of Candace and Tucker and still thinks they're clones.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting, as crazy as it is, there's a much easier explanation, but there's a reason why people think this. Tucker seems to have flipped on a dime. There's this viral video,
Makes no sense.
a montage of Tucker saying things like, I don't know who that guy is. Who is he? And then it shows another clip of him sitting down and interviewing the guy. Tommy Robinson being a great example of him, like, who's Tommy? I don't even know anything about him. And then there's him interviewing Tommy Robinson saying, thank you for your work. It's
There was
great to
like
talk
two or
to you.
three other people, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't forget. He's smart. He knows what he's doing.
there is an interesting question of what changed in these people's lives. Now, I'll say this of Tucker. He's allowed to have his opinions. And I
respect
don't think he said anything that's outside the realm of reality. It's just a different political worldview that he's adopted over the past couple of years. And that's why I've defended his right to do his show. He can say whatever he wants.
Right.
Candace, however, is off in Wally World saying who knows what wackaloon stuff.
Right.
But the question is, what made so many prominent conservatives just flip?
And flip to watching what Candace is saying. You mean?
It was the death of Charlie Kirk.
Was
I mean,
it?
It was just people went mad, man.
Well,
They
I
went
thought the
mad.
death of Charlie Kirk was after the first week, the whole world was on our side. I'm like, this could be the greatest thing. You know, nothing could be great. You know, losing Charlie is like a nightmare, the worst thing ever. But like for the world, it felt like the world was coming together. People were going to become more religious, and we had it. It was all coming together until Candace decided.
And it got ruined for
she was
2
gonna go
weeks.
crazy.
We had it for 2
Yeah.
weeks. We had it for 2 weeks. Charlie was keeping a lot of crazy people at bay.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in this business, that's in this industry, we all know it. We all know it. We're not supposed to say it. Tim, I told you I was going to say it here on the show. We're not supposed to say it. We're not supposed to say that 99.7% of everybody that you listen to and that you watch, they're not those people when the cameras are off. They're not supposed to say that. So Charlie Kirk was keeping a lot of these people at bay. And Charlie, love you to death, my brother. Wish you were still here.
Me too.
Charlie was keeping these people at bay because he knew that showing solidarity to the American people was good for the mission and for the base. And then when Charlie died, here's the truth. Millions and millions of dollars were left on the table from his show. All these people saw opportunities to jump in and become the next people, take over these things. So what do? Do you go the easy route? Do you go the hard route, which is this is a time we all need to unify
We should have
to
unified
defeat evil,
behind Turning
but that's
Point.
not what
What needed
sells.
to be
That's
done,
not
yes.
what goes.
With that being said, I do want to address this one super chat from a member. This is hard to read this moment. Sonny GL7. He's been a member for 42 months. I deeply respect that. Thank you so much. He said, "No, Tim, you called her a C word. I know I said it on the show before, but I'll stop. I won't frame
It was a
it
good
now.
word to use.
Your mind, you lost your mind attacking her. Your opinion and position of making it personal is lame. I agree with her questioning. I will say this. Apparently on her show, she said she went a little too far in telling people to pull their donations from Turning Point USA, and I'll respect it. If she's gonna pull things back, that is a respectable thing to do. I think she chased after the views and the money and all of those things, and I will admit to being in a heightened state of tension due to a shooting at my property, of which let me just say this before I get to the meat and potatoes. She accused my brother of trying to kill me. Okay? That being said, I do apologize for calling her a degenerate cunt. That is unbecoming of a gentleman. Whether or not I am mad with Candace Owens and she has said disparaging things of me, it was unbecoming, and I accept that, and I do apologize. If we are going to have a more articulate and better reasoned world, I should not be getting heated like that and losing it. That being said, I think it's fair to point out that after dealing with this shooting on my property, very agitated, and it was compounded by Candace received the brunt of my ire when she said, quote, "The shooting that Tim Pool survived in December of 2022 was committed by his brother, and it resulted in a bunch of people posting my brother's photo, claiming that my brother broke into my house and was getting shot at by security, none of which was true, never happened. The real story was that we had a burglary at one of our other properties, and a staff member fired at one of the guys who broke in, and they fled." So I was very angry, but I am willing to admit that I was wrong, and I should have kept my cool. Again, we are talking about the need for unity. We are talking about how we need to bring things back to a world that Charlie was working towards.
Yep.
And I'm fairly certain that if I had an outburst like that and Charlie were around, he'd have called me and said, "Tim, you need to calm down. You need to say you're sorry." So I will try to
We
get
definitely
my
need to get it unified back together before these midterms.
He would have
because
shut Candace down too.
We've
So
got
that's
to
the
get
thing.
that momentum. We've got to get We've got to get unified and the momentum and get it back together. Because right now the fracture's so bad, and they're hitting us every which way.
There's time to.
And then Trump's putting out the most insane tweets.
Oh, he's going live, by the way.
You know,
We might want to. It's 6 p. It's what is it? 9 p.m. Eastern.
I think
6
he's
p.m.
talking about Venezuela, right?
Probably.
today or tomorrow?
But we knew this. See,
Or how great the
yeah.
economy
you
is
knew
doing.
that what he put out about Venezuela. You knew it was all about the oil, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, a blind person knows. So, like I've been trying to say, if you really, and I'm a big Trump supporter, if you really want to get the drugs out of the country, you'd be bombing the cartels in Mexico, and they wouldn't do anything about it. But you saw what the president said, who was handpicked because they killed 20 other people when she was running.
Yeah.
She says, no American troops could come, because they know, right? They know. So listen, if you want to say it's about drugs, Donald Trump, go get the cartels, and I'll be right behind you.
I'm hoping. I don't. I respect Tucker. I like Tucker a lot. I've been a big fan of his
do
for a
too.
long time.
Just a
I
little
don't.
disappointed.
I do think it's fair to point out. Agreed. That his political views have changed quite a bit, and I do think it's fair to point out that there's this viral video where he's acting like several people he's actually met and interviewed he doesn't know. Now I don't understand that. I don't think he's afraid to talk about those things. I'm sure he'd answer if someone asked him about it. I'm just wondering why so many people seem to have changed their opinion and gone in this direction. My personal view is not that Qatar is handing out checks. It's always it's always the simple answer to be like, you are paid. No, I think it's real easy. I think somebody logged onto their show, said something like, maybe it's a genocide. Boom, they gained 10,000 new subscribers. And they went, ooh.
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of subscribers from this.
Yes.
And also TikTok, the whole
'Cause that's
TikTok
what
was all
sells.
genocide.
That's what sells. When I talk bad about Candace Owens and things like that, or I challenge Candace, right? Don't talk bad, right? Even though she deserves it. But you use the same logic. Don't you think it's weird that Candace did this? Don't you think the way she said it, don't you think that's weird? Tucker, same way. Don't you think all this and that? We lose money. We lose subscribers. We lose money. The only people that are making money, more money than they were last year right now, are the people that are all in on the Jews did it. Trump's bought by Netanyahu.
But the thing is
all
it's
this
about
stuff.
the thing that's really important here is you could hate Bibi Netanyahu. You can hate the Israeli government.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I like Bibi Netanyahu, but there's a lot of things I don't like that he does. But there's a big difference between Israel and Netanyahu and the Jews. You can't just say the Jews, okay? There's the liberal Jews that run everything that make us look, all the real Jews look bad.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but this is a fact. The people that run the medias, and they're all liberal Jews. They've never even been to Israel. They probably don't even know what the Sabbath is. They just say, oh, I'm Jewish. My last name's Greenstein.
I got an idea. We should play a heads-up game, 10K buy-in, and when you win, I can title the video, Jew Takes All My Money.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I love it.
People will be like, oh, they'll click it, and then it's just a poker game.
I mean, it's what it is. I mean, I wish Candace and Tucker would go to Israel, see the sites, don't believe how it's running. Oh, like Candace says, only the Muslims could be in this corner. Oh, only the Jews. That's not true. It's all made up lies.
We have to define, though, Tim, to your point, and bravo to you, good sir, on your apology. We have to define when we talk about, okay, it's time for us to unify, to try to preserve this country for as long as possible. Well, what are we talking about when we actually say that? Who are we trying to unify? Who are we trying to unify with? Can you actually unify with people that truly believe that 3 months ago they started building a clone of Candace Owens to replace her on the day? Can you really unify with the people that the only reason Candace Owens made a video last night was because there were a lot of people that made thousands and thousands of dollars all over TikTok, Instagram, everything, making videos concerned that Erica Kirk had murdered Candace during their meeting. How do you unify with people that like this?
But she's done this to these people.
Yes,
That's the problem.
But I'm gonna tell you how we unify. Okay, so what did we have over the left up until Charlie's murder that they didn't have?
We didn't exclude people the way that they do.
We were always the media, or we were always the people that told the truth. Right? We didn't make if we saw something that was wrong and we had said we had commented on it, we'd apologize and say, you know what, I read this, I was wrong, it didn't come out. And the mainstream media was just lying fools, and we won the election because we exposed the media for what they are. Now what are they going to do to us? Expose us for because you got Candace has lost her mind and Tucker and I don't know, like even when Ben Shapiro had the interview with Megyn Kelly, Megan's like, what, Candace is saying that? What, Tucker? Come on, Megan.
Yep.
You know what's being said.
Candace-
You're not
and-
stupid.
and this is-
Megan knows exactly what's
And I
going
love
on.
Megan Kelly.
I do too, but
I
she
didn't
knows.
know-
She
I didn't
knows what's
understand
going
that.
on.
She wanted to separate herself from them, but she didn't.
I feel the same way, and this also breaks my heart in that Megyn Kelly acting like she didn't know what Candace was saying. It was just because
really
I
bothered
think, look, there are a lot of people that were very critical of Candace well before I lost my mind over her and things she was saying on her show. And so they deserve a lot more credit than I. I mean, I think Crowder was one of the first, if not the first. He called her a naughty word over the things she was saying. And then he even put out this video from the Daily Wire. He was like, I'm not here to take sides. Like, this is news. But I suppose it's heartbreaking when people are so scared because her audience is so massive. They fear what will happen to you.
Yeah.
Megan doesn't want to come out and say, you're right, Candace shouldn't be saying these things, because she knows there's an overlap between her audience and Candace's audience. And Candace is going to win that fight.
But here's where we talk about the truth, right? We won the election because we told the truth. If we sit there and are afraid to tell the truth about what's really going on, then we end up like them. And then now their media becomes, well, what? Look, why are you calling our media corrupt? Well, look what you guys are saying. You see what I'm trying to say? That's why we need to unite.
Well, there was probably 3 or 4 like true solid things that had to happen for us to win the election in November 2024.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yes, we had to put they're crazy on blast, and we had to put the truth.
And Trump had to turn his head by a split second.
Yeah, an act of God happened in front of us live in Butler. Okay, we also had Charlie Kirk, and we had Turning Point USA, and honestly, then the other part was we had people who had either been known left or center left that it had finally gotten bad enough.
Well, when they went after Trump to try to bankrupt him, put him in jail for life, and everybody. Like when we talk about like how crazy Candace is going, like everybody knew that it was all political, that the Biden DOJ was trying to put him in jail for life so he doesn't get power. So we were able to prove it basically with our voices that what the left was doing. And now when you have this craziness back and forth, that's why we're fractured, and that's why we have to get back together.
Let's start here. I want to ask you a question, Graham.
Okay.
Do you want to quit political commentary and get out of this space? I don't mean to put you on the spot because I've already talked about it, how the violence is getting extreme.
Yep.
We just had a shooting at my property.
Yep.
And it's particularly terrifying, especially I just had a kid.
Yep.
And so the questions we're having now, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
However,
Congrats.
when we get these death threats after Charlie is killed, people are posting, Tim Pool, they're posting, not just me, but like the ones my security team is seeing. We get emails threatening to come shoot the place up.
Yep.
And then sure enough, it happens. There are a lot of people behind the scenes that are basically saying it might be getting much too hot right now.
Yeah.
I'm curious where you're at on this one.
Well, we actually did a show about your show, basically, affirming everything that you were saying, because we get the same things on our side as well. That's a tough one to go. All right, I'm going to give the real answer here. If I didn't get into this thinking, when I was in the Army for 12 years, I went into that thinking, okay, I'm putting myself in harm's way. Never did I think that my family could suffer from it. When I started running my mouth about things that I saw that were wrong about everything, never did I imagine that. I mean, here's the real truth right now. If I can look directly into the camera, like my kids can't go to normal schools. For the rest of their lives, like they cannot go to normal schools. We have to hide, just like you. We have to hide where our location is at. We're in unmarked buildings, all this other kind of stuff. Wishes of sodomy and rape on my daughters and things like this. Like, I mean, disgusting. and then when I question Candace, they know that they can't bother me. So then my wife starts getting all the phone calls. She starts getting all the DMs. She starts getting all the everything, trying to come after me through them. Do I want to quit? It does bother me on a level of what we talked about earlier, where so many of these people that are behind the mic, they are fake. And I know a lot of people will probably say, well, Graham, you're fake. You're the biggest grifter, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'll put my bank account against anybody else's bank account, and we'll see who's actually taking money from who when it's all said and done. But it is that part where people are disingenuous. They're not real in their faith and their beliefs. And then, the real life problems that we're facing to where, yeah, people want to kill us simply for questioning Candace Owens. So the very people that are saying that we have changed and we've turned our back, you, me, and so many others have been taking arrows for making a stand that wasn't popular for so long. We didn't change.
We're certainly not doing it for views.
No,
or
we're
subscribers.
losing it by doing this. We're doing it because we believe it to be true. The people that are supporting the likes of Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, they changed. They changed.
I'll tell you where I'm at. I mentioned this before. Probably what you were commenting on is that we've got prominent conservatives that are caught taking money for these ridiculous campaigns, advocating SNAP benefits to buy soda.
Yeah.
In what world is that a moral thing to advocate for? But they got paid advocating for foreign countries.
Yeah.
We are sitting here talking about what this country needs, and now you got these people taking money to promote, India's trade benefits or whatever Trump's negotiating. You've got that. Then you've got the Candace Owens phenomenon and people like her. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I get these death threats, and we've gotten them for a long time. And we were swatted 15 times starting in 2022. It was January 6th or 7th of 2022 was the first swatting. It was right after Marjorie Taylor Greene came on. And
Another one lost her mind.
well, my view is with all of the threats of violence, but also this disingenuous grifterdom, whatever you want to call it, I'm sitting here asking myself, to what end do we stand strong? And so I will answer the question as well. I absolutely do not want to quit. I love doing this every single night. I am driven to point the finger and be like, the media is lying right there. Here's how and why. Right. But it becomes an increasing challenge when there is less and less of a desire for truth, more a desire for entertainment.
And outrage.
And outrage. And so what I would say is, we were just talking before the show about solutions to the security issues that we're facing. And I think we've got an amazing opportunity in front of us that will, I believe will happen, but we'll see. And I'll just put it simply, like we're working with Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think Rumble is very serious about taking this, turning these detriments, these net negatives into net positives. How do we solve the security problem and also make better content and do better jobs? I think Rumble's going to make that happen.
As a professional poker player, okay, what makes me so good, and I don't study GTO. I don't
luck.
No, I read people.
Yeah.
Okay. I could look at you. I could tell if you're telling the truth, or if you're a grifter, or you're just. I could know who honest people are. Every time Trump speaks, I know when he's telling the truth and when he's lying. Okay, and listen, I don't want to keep saying bad things about Candace or Tucker, but watching people who I loved turn into something that I just feel is so. When you watch Candace, you just know it's ingenuous. It's just it's not genuine.
It's demoralizing.
It's demoralizing, and so I see it, and I read these people, and I ask myself, like, come on, Tucker's very, very wealthy. He's been in for forever. He's one of the smartest people in the world. He doesn't. You could call out the Israeli government if you don't like it, but when he keeps saying the Jews, and then he says, well, I'm not anti-Semitic. Well, when you say the Jews, you are anti-Semitic.
It's demoralizing.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that I'm doing is I launched a new channel. YouTube gave me @TimPool finally after 15 years or whatever.
Wow.
And so I put up a vlog today of it was me and Brandon hanging out at the DGen Lounge for WPT, and it's fun. I want to have fun again. I don't want to be so stressed out all the time with the constant
That's
fighting.
a good point. Have fun. Again. Yeah.
But it's also,
like
it's just not
poker
political
too. You gotta
content.
have fun. You can't make it miserable.
Yeah, I think the reality, there are people, I would say this of Candace, she loves being rich.
Yes.
She loves getting attention. She loves being wealthy. She married a very wealthy man, and she's doing everything she can to get those numbers up. Man,
She's going to need all of them.
I don't care.
From the Macron lawsuit.
I had people saying to me like, "Why are you bitching about these threats to your family, Tim? You're rich." And I'm like, I would rather just make a humble salary and not have my family threatened.
Yeah.
I don't need much. I talk about living in a van down by the river all the time.
Yep.
I told my wife, I said, you know what we'll do if it all goes tits up? We'll get like a 500 square foot little shack in the middle of nowhere by a river.
Elon lives in an apartment probably the size of this room.
I'm going to generate
Maybe less.
electricity with a water wheel to power our house, and we'll be 500 miles away from civilization. And she was like, ugh. She sighs because she wants it to be true. But she knows we're never actually going to move to the middle of nowhere. We're going to keep staying in the fight.
Yeah, I put it like this. I a very religious guy, so I've prayed about it a lot. Like, Lord, if it's time for me to put the microphone away, I'll do it. But people keep showing up. They keep showing up every day. And so as long as they keep showing up and there's a fight to be had, here's the thing that I think you're saying, if I can stand up for a couple people real quick, stand up for people like Dan Bongino for a minute.
Yeah.
Not even a year ago, people were begging, people like me, people like Dan, and other people, and I don't want to out them because a lot of people have anonymous profiles that went to the administration. And we did it. For those of you who don't know, we had to stop all money making. You can't do that. And when your business is you talking, it's not like you can just name a CEO to take it over and all this stuff. We did it, and we went in there, and now I'm a Fed. I'm bought and paid for. I was a Fed before. I was in the Army for 12 years before I even did this. So I'm a Fed. But then you got Dan Bongino, who before Candace in her thing, he was getting 200,000 concurrents every day. And he gave it all up to go try to make a difference. Now, you can say whatever you want. Yes, the FBI was corrupted. Yes, it was a mess, and it was probably set up to fail from the beginning. But Dan Bongino is a patriot, and I've seen the reports from Fox News that he's thinking about his future and all this other stuff. When he comes back, I think we need a Dan Bongino to come back.
I think people are saying, "Oh, Dan Bongino got in and he got corrupted." I don't believe for a second. I think Dan is fighting the good fight, still trying his hardest.
Absolutely, I 100% agree.
But here's the thing: is what is your opinion on this? Because the DOJ is supposed to be separate from the administration. The FBI is supposed to be separate from the administration. And every time, and I met Kash Patel. I think he's a really nice guy. I think he's doing the good fight. But it's always like, we got Trump's agenda. The DOJ, Pam Bondi brings up, well, they're blocking us from Trump's agenda. Like, are they supposed to be saying that? Aren't they supposed to be neutral, the DOJ and the FBI? And they come out like, all about Trump's agenda, which I like that, but what's going to happen when they get the power? Is it all going to be about Gavin Newsom? God, please rest us all. Don't let fucking Gavin Newsom in there. But I'm just trying to say, do you understand what I'm trying to say about keeping it separate?
If we don't stay in this fight and redouble our efforts, we're going to get President Newsom. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would rather have the crazy Kamala than I would Gavin. Gavin Newsom is the most evil person in the world.
The only reason to prefer Kamala to Gavin Newsom is because is in the hope that a Kamala Harris administration would be less
coherent.
Yeah, less coherent, but also less
be drunk
accomplished. Like they wouldn't be able to get things done as well as Gavin Newsom.
You're right, Mike. It is supposed to be neutral, but in the real world,
we know Merrick Garland was working for Biden.
But when the president's agenda is what's best for the country, truly, hey, finding all of these people, prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the laws, hey, when international crimes are committed or
this is another thing that's making us look bad.
The cops being cops, allowing them to do what they're supposed to do.
There's been no arrest. There's been they just talk, right? And it makes us look like idiots, right?
Yeah, well, I've never been a Pam Bondi fan.
If nothing's getting done.
I never really
I was going in, I'm not now.
I never liked the Pam Bondi pick. I never really loved it. I think everyone agrees that Pam Bondi, in her first 2 weeks, with that whole Epstein binder stuff, everyone agrees that was the most massive PR mistake that could have ever happened.
Ever.
And honestly, there was a lot of innocent creators or influencers or pundits, however you want to call them, that got caught in a situation they didn't even realize they were getting caught into during that. They were there to meet a lot of the cabinet level officials. Pam Bondi walks in kind of last minute, throws them all these binders, and then they go walk outside where they think the press aren't supposed to be, but then the press aren't there. There were a lot of people there that got caught in a situation.
Well, one of the big things about the Epstein thing, right, is I know for 1,000,000% sure that Trump had nothing to do with Epstein. He blocked him out in 2003. If they had anything on Trump with Epstein, they wouldn't have bankrupted him, tried to put him in jail for life, did all the things they put up. They had nothing, okay? But when Trump says, a lot of innocent people are going to get hurt, and then they get mad. Well, who cares about innocent people getting hurt? They're pedophiles, right? But you got to remember, like people like Prince Andrews, the royals, people that put Mohammed bin Salman, like very powerful people, like these are people that give the United States billions and billions of dollars. And if they see their name on there one time on a plane, you see what I'm saying? And that's what he's trying to block.
Let me pull up this story. We got this from Fox News. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino to decide about future at Bureau in coming weeks, sources say. So they're not going so far, this article said that he is quitting. And they've been floating this story a lot. It's been denied every single time. I think Cash comes out and he's like, this is not true. Dan's not going anywhere. However, I'm curious, do you guys think this is like a psyop? Like the media just keeps lying it to put pressure on Dan? Or is the reality that Dan actually is considering quitting the FBI?
I think if he was actually considering leaving, I think that you would hear something. I would think you'd hear something from someone other than the media. Right? Like you'd hear more rumblings on X or whatever, but like I don't think that the media has any kind of legitimacy.
Is it like a source close to somebody that saw Dan complain that he was getting exhausted at the job says that he's thinking, he was like, man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I mean, I'm sure he said stuff like that.
The thing is, they don't say the sources, and even though the Trump administration is a better administration than we've had in the past, there are plenty of people in Washington D.C. that don't like this administration and love to leak bad information to the media.
Yeah,
even
well,
Fox News.
If he does leave, my Rumble stock will go straight up.
Yeah. If I can try to attempt to put my mind in the mind of Dan Bongino, I would say this. I think that there's no way he's not seeing this fracture that is happening. I think that Dan's a genius at what he does. I think he knows that we're headed for a massive bloodbath in the midterms right now. If I'm
but we
Dan
could
Bongino,
fix it if we unite.
it's going to take a miracle to fix it, if
Yeah.
we're being honest.
But
But
Dan-
a Dan Bongino coming back could be one of those miracles of probably 6 miracles we need to happen. So if I'm Dan Bongino, I'm weighing where does Dan Bongino actually help the country the most now in this moment of time? Because I think in March he comes up on a year that he's been there, and so I think
Dan can do it.
I think Dan. I think we do need Dan back.
Do you guys realize it was only 2 months ago that the world was praising Trump? We had the peace deal, the hostages were released.
There's
everything. We're on top of the world.
Look, there's 2 things that are going to make the real difference in the midterms. That's where the economy is,
Yes, agreed.
and the situation with the healthcare subsidies that are ending. When people see their healthcare prices go through the roof, they're going to look at the Republicans and say, "You've had power.
Yeah.
You swore you were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. You haven't. And then not only have you not done what you said, then you went and you let my payments triple
agreed.
or
Yeah.
quadruple.
100%.
They're not going to vote for Republicans if they don't do something about this. And I'm not saying that the ACA is good. I'm not saying that I like it. But if they let these prices go up the way that they're going to, people are going to look at the Republicans and say, like I said, you didn't repeal it like you said, and then you let my prices, my premiums triple. You're out.
Well, we also
Let me just say real quick, Dan Bongino coming back to a podcast, his first day, it'll be the biggest live show
it'll be the
ever
biggest
done.
thing ever.
He's
Yeah.
gonna have 500 to 1 million people watching that moment when he comes out and he says, "Here's what happened when I was at the FBI and why I'm not there anymore."
Yeah, breaking my silence.
Yeah.
I think we also have to take some responsibility. Tim, I don't want to speak for you here,
No,
but I
speak
know
for
me. I know me, and I've had this conversation at the White House. People that do what we do, we have to take a little bit, no, not a little bit, a whole lot of responsibility for the fact we sold the American people that if we win this election,
We're going to bring the
everything's going to be fixed. And we didn't do a good job because we have to remember
It's not even a year yet.
99% of Americans don't pay attention to this stuff like we do.
Yeah.
They don't know how it works like we do. And I do. I think a majority of Americans really believed that within 90 days, like the whole world was going to be fixed. And so now we have a 3-headed monster facing us in the midterms right now. One, we've got former allies or former people that are trying to burn it all down.
Yeah.
You can insert who you want to in that statement. Two, we've got to turn, you saw it in Nashville the other day. We've got R plus 22 districts that are really Trump plus 22 districts, and we've got to do our best to turn them from Trump plus 22 to R plus 10s, maybe. And then we have a messaging issue where we've got to show the American people, hey, I know it's not feeling better yet. Yeah, egg prices were $2 when Trump's first administration, but then they went to $9. Now they're $6.50. It is starting to work, but it's going to take some time.
Oil prices, he's got it way down. What, $50
Yes,
a barrel now?
and then last but not least, we don't have Charlie Kirk anymore. And that is a major hurdle. And that's not me talking bad about Turning Point or anything like that. I'm just saying,
you're trying to tell me all
Charlie's
the people
not here.
that care about our movement. There's not one person that could get in. There'll never be another Charlie.
Yeah, that would be a death sentence.
But there has to be somebody.
Person
but
there.
there has to be like one or two.
Look what they're doing to Erica.
When Erica said, "I'm the CEO of Turning Point now," I expected her to grieve for a month and her to be on that podcast, pushing everything. That's what I was expecting.
I think they'd crucify her if she had done that. I mean, and I agree. I think I don't think.
Oh, I
Erica,
see why you're saying that.
I don't think Erica could win no matter what she did.
Correct.
Honestly.
She's not Charlie.
She's not Charlie.
And-
no
and-
one's
and-
ever going to
and
be Charlie.
Blake is not Charlie, and Andrew's not Charlie, and Jack is not Charlie.
No.
And Jack is fantastic.
Yeah.
But Charlie, man, that guy hit the nail on the head with the hammer.
I've never seen somebody so smart. He knew exactly. He would take in every liberal's question, think it through his head real quick, and I've never seen anybody that knew the answers. Like he would quote every part of scriptures, part of the Bible, part of everything he knew it all. Like how? Like amazing.
He was really
smart
good.
guy.
But more importantly, his diplomacy. This is a question that we've asked just today, but people have been asking since he was assassinated. Was he holding the right together? I think the text messages that we saw where he was saying things like, I may leave the pro-Israel, they're forcing me to leave the pro-Israel cause. This is an example of being diplomatic. There were messages where he was critical of Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
If you've got two people that are fighting and you're the intermediary, you don't go to them, one person, and say, you're wrong about the other guy, stop yelling at him. You go to them and say, I totally get what you're saying about other guy. Like, let's just try and keep the peace. And so he kept everybody within that sphere by being nice to them, by respecting them. And now that he's gone, there's no one holding back the infighting, the vitriol.
Yeah. Right.
No, I agree.
It's like the moment they killed him, all this started going nuts.
But
And I thought it was going to do opposite for us because the first 2 weeks, the whole world was on our side.
We just talked a moment ago about quitting, about disappearing, doing other content. And I've mentioned this before. It's an open secret. There are many prominent individuals in the political space, some even liberal, who are basically bowing out or have already moved to undisclosed locations. And I always tell people, look for whose set has changed, even subtly, because people are getting really worried about this. Charlie Kirk's assassination was a slam dunk for his killers.
yeah.
There's been no negative repercussion for if we're going to go on the official narrative that it is this Tyler Robinson guy who had a trans furry boyfriend. Let's just put it like this. The left, who celebrated his death, called for more, have faced no negative repercussions from it.
Nothing.
So when we talk about the risks that we face doing shows like this, it is coming off the heels of a political assassination where they won.
Yeah.
Where they have put the right in disarray. There has been no detriment to the left. They have insulted Charlie. They have mocked him. And now what people need to consider in this space, like where we are, is they have now taken into consideration that if they kill a conservative, they will get away with it.
Yeah.
I believe that dramatically increases
They
the
just did the
likelihood.
Brown University. You think that wasn't a hit job on that Republican woman?
It looks a lot like that's what it might have been.
It feels
This young college Republican woman was killed along with one other person, and they're not putting out video. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Very strange.
It feels like the right in general doesn't have like a really good message. It's got like family
Yeah.
and faith, which is good.
Apple pie and baseball.
Apple pie's nice, but they don't ever talk about
pie is
science. Like I don't ever hear them talk about science. And like if you want to win, really fix the world, you need better material sciences. Like you have.
I got to give it to you, Ian. People love these general interest podcasts where people talk about free energy and like hidden technologies. Joe Rogan's going to talk about how the technology used to build the pyramids and UFOs. People generally are interested in new tech. They buy it like crazy. Tech podcasts do really well. And I agree. The right doesn't have a general interest angle. I don't think science is the end all be all of this, but I get your point. The right tends to have a family is good and taxes are too high message. And so they're not hitting that general interest field. I do think more recently they've done a better job of it. That's why even Joe Rogan endorses Donald Trump. But not like Democrats are doing it all the same. At least, however, Democrats are telling people what they want to hear. Free money and cheaper health care.
The Democrats saw the message that we put out in 2024 about we were just the economy. You know, like what's his name says, it's the economy, stupid. You know, it's just you can't. Yeah,
Well, I feel like the left doesn't have a good message either.
they don't.
And it's
but
like
they're
it's
piggybacking
ping pong.
on what we did in 2024, and then we're fractured instead of united.
The left,
so now it's like boom, they're hitting us at every angle.
They don't have a good message. The difference is it's the pro.
They have no message.
It's the pro and the con of our side. Our side embraces free thinkers. Our side embraces challenging and questioning and this and that. The left can make one phone call and they all fall in line no matter how crazy it is. And they're all going to just do what whoever called them told them to do.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Wouldn't it be easier if there was some shadowy political cabal that just paid you $1 million a year?
Oh.
You don't got to worry about sponsor, advertiser, or business. Just
If I
talking
left
points.
my wife tomorrow and started a relationship with AOC, and it's funny because she's out there, all right, I would be the most famous, the most talked about, and probably one of the richest commentators within 12 months, would you say? Like if I said, you know what, it's all fake. The Republicans are horrible. It's terrible. I've seen the light. Being married to one woman and one woman only is not the way. I'm leaving my wife. I'm going, and me and the teeth to gum ratio, AOC. We're in a relationship. I'm a Democrat now. Not only that, I'm a Democrat socialist. I'd have endorses from Colgate, Oreo, all kinds of this stuff.
Have you ever seen the Ryan Long bit where it's left and right wing podcast sponsors?
Yeah.
And the left wing guy is like, "Welcome to the anti-communist or the anti-capitalist revolution, brought to you by McDonald's."
Yeah.
And then it shows the conservative guy, and he's like, "It's brought to you by Patriot Water, water for patriots." Very good bit.
I
from
mean,
Ryan
I think a lot of it, like I don't want to name a name, but there's a couple people in the poker world. They're really famous in Hollywood, and they were liberals. And whenever I brought up Trump, you know, they don't bring up Trump. And then after this election, I saw his wife on the plane, and she called me, and she's like, we start talking politics, and she's like, we voted for Trump. I'm like, well, what? Right? And then she told me this is really cool. She's like, well, when October 7th happened, it brought me back to my Jewish roots, and I realized everybody on the left, that came out the next day before Israel even had a response for October 7th, they were out in the streets, hating the Jews and kill all the Jews, and globalize the Intifada. And she's like, "Wow, I'm on the wrong side."
I think it was on this show, Daniel Negreanu credited you with waking him up.
Yeah.
He said that he had Joe Rogan ended up bringing up on his show because the story is so amazing. Daniel, one of the most famous poker players ever, he's in movies, said that he thought he saw the video where Trump said that Nazis were very fine people because he saw this little snippet.
Right.
And then he was like, it was not until Mike puts the phone on the table, presses play, slides it over, and says, "Watch this."
Yes.
And he was like, "Okay, fine, I'll watch it." And he looks and he goes, "Oh, I was wrong about that."
And the thing is, it's also back then I was just huge Tucker fan. I thought that he was so good for our side. Everything he was telling was the truth. And then Daniel would say, "Tucker's a racist." I'm like, and he'd send me this clip. I'm like, that's not the real clip. I go, "Here's the real clip," right? And I go, "Did you watch it?" And he would say, "No, I don't watch nothing on Fox News," right? And that's how it used to be, because that's what liberals are. They won't listen to your side. Like if a liberal comes up to me, I'll listen to everything they have to say. But if you want to say something to them, if they're stuck in their own minds, they won't listen. And once they break through, and I think a lot of it had to do with Elon, because like Daniel had one of the first 5 Teslas ever made, right? So Elon was his hero. And so all of a sudden he's following Elon, and Elon's putting out all the accounts that I've been following for years. And now he starts opening up. He starts seeing these different things. And Daniel's a smart guy. And like, I don't want to say anything, but like when we went to war over politics in 2016, like we went from the closest friends to like I'll kill you kind of crazy shit. He hated Trump so much. So, but I always knew he's just a wonderful, loving person, and he's very smart, and he'd figure it out, and he did, and it makes me feel good.
And it's also, Trump's been getting a lot of flack for his comments on Rob Reiner, which I can understand.
It was terrible.
Rob has said nasty things about Trump and his family and accused him of crimes and all these awful things. But have you seen James Woods' response?
And James Woods is one of my very good friends, and when I talked about Rob Reiner a couple of years ago, you know what he said to me? He's the kindest, most wonderful person in the world. I try and tell him the truth about politics. He just won't listen at all. So I just got done with it. But it doesn't mean that I don't love the guy. So and that's where Trump misses the mark here, right? Somebody could hate you, and it doesn't matter. He was killed by his own drug addict son. Yeah. Trump's message should have been. This is why I'm out to get rid of drugs. Look what his son did to this person. I might have not liked this person, but nobody deserves this. And Trump could have, boom, and then he could have been look really good at it, because that's what took Rob Reiner down. His son, a drug addict on drugs, killed his mother and father. And Trump could have said, "This is why we're attacking drugs."
I want to pull this story up actually because this is very interesting. Some variety. James Woods tears up over infuriating remarks about patriot Rob Reiner. Because you disagree with people doesn't mean you have to hate them. And, we talked about this the other day, and there were people saying pretending to mourn for Rob Reiner won't stop the left from trying to kill you. Don't get me wrong. I understand there's a lot of young leftists who are insane and want to murder all of us. Literally just had someone shoot at a property. But Rob Reiner made some of the greatest of American culture. I was saying this the other day. And Princess Bride is epic. And when we talk about defending America, those are the movies that represent the America that we want to preserve.
Yep.
Yeah. Misery, for what it's worth. It's a brutal movie, but A Few Good Men. But I mean, come on, The Princess Bride.
He was also the son in Archie. I just kind of put that together today.
I've been watching some because since he died, there's lots of clips going around, and I remember when I was a young kid watching it. It's like you couldn't. They'd throw you in jail for life if there was another Archie.
It's all in the family, is the name of the show.
Let me highlight this real
quick.
I
wish they rebooted
it. James Woods is like as MAGA as they come.
Yeah, nobody's more MAGA.
He's a huge Trump supporter, and he appears on I think it was Fox News. And he was choking up because he had been good friends with Rob Reiner. And I think the story was that he was initially not going to get cast because he was too young. But Rob Reiner went to bat for him and helped him get his start in Hollywood and helped him make a life. And they'd been friends forever.
Yeah.
This is a message of we should not let politics tear us apart.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now, don't get me wrong. The violent extremists, they're going to go to jail for being violent extremists when they break the law and they do these things. Rob Reiner was just some doofy boomer liberal guy.
Yeah.
He's one of these people who has fallen into the sea of CNN slop and MS
He was Daniel
garbage.
before he changed.
Yeah. And when I look to these people, I've met my share of older boomers who are like, I'm not a liberal, but they're liberals. And you talk to them, they just need to be exposed. It's like what you were saying with people you knew. They just need to be exposed to other people and have some pushback and have someone share with them, here's the real video, and finally break through.
Right.
So this was an opportunity for Trump to be, as I said the other day, magnanimous, not just for himself, but for James, who is also a friend of Trump's.
Very good
and
friend, yeah.
This is the path we want to go down is we're going to bring everyone together. And this country needs to be a left and a right that grumble at each other and then have cheeseburgers together.
Yeah. And let me ask you, you used to be a Democrat, liberal, correct?
I don't know. When I was younger, my family we were all default liberal, Chicago urban. Right. And then when I was a teenager, it was all punk rock, anarchy, but I knew what any of that actually meant.
Right.
And then in my from 18, I was or actually not from about 18. I was like atheist lefty, and then I became kind of like moderate lib. Mm-hmm. I came back to reality, started believing in God again, but was very much like, I mean, look, it was John McCain and Mitt Romney. There's no way I was going to be anywhere near Republicans.
I didn't even know what politics was until 2015 when I was bedridden after my surgery, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "You got to pick someone for president, right?" So I fill out this questionnaire. And it comes up Trump. And I never liked Trump. I mean, in 2008, I stayed at his hotel and I had to move out of it in Hawaii. And I never liked Trump because he was a playboy. He was all over the, Schmutt magazines. I just thought he didn't represent good, like had different marriages, different kids, and then I'm like, really? I have to pick this guy? And every single thing that I believed in, I didn't know nothing. I didn't even know what a Republican or a Democrat was. And I'm like, do you believe in open borders? No, we should have closed borders. Do you believe in God? Yes, I believe in God. Do you believe that people should get free? No, people shouldn't get free healthcare. My dad told me when I was a kid, go to work. You want to make it in life, go to work hard.
But the Democrats used to have that too.
I know.
I mean, even Hillary Clinton was advocating for a border barrier, and so was Bernie Sanders. And
so was Obama.
Absolutely, Obama, deporter in chief. and Obama, they called him, because he was very bullish on war in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. But the Democrats and the Republicans were very much the same thing. Then Bernie comes in and politely knocks on the door saying, we need to have a revolution in this country. And then Donald Trump actually came with a battering ram.
Yeah.
The Democrats said Bernie ain't getting in, and Trump forced his way in.
Well, the difference is the Democrats have the superdelegates, so they could control who could lose.
Correct.
And the right
Bernie should have gotten the nod.
Absolutely. Yeah. They cheated him twice, which, I get it. For the good of the country, we can't have socialism, right? Now, here's another thing. Trump wanted Mondami to win in New York, okay? He wanted a socialist communist, because now in 2028 and 2026, we could run on, if you don't vote for us, the socialism is going to take over the world and the country, and we're going to be gone.
The only problem and the only flaw with that is you got to let him burn it to the ground, and then we're going to lose the midterms in the process.
Right, and then
so it's like we're sacrificing.
But we're probably going to lose the midterms anyways.
We're sacrificing the midterms to try to crawl our way back in 2028. But then the reality is this, and I tell my audience this all the time: we got to win in 24. We got to win in, which we did. We got to win in 26. Then we got to win in 28.
Well, we were going to win it all until they assassinated Charlie.
I've told everybody that the swamp in D.C., the system in D.C. is deeper, darker, more corrupt, more obstacles in your way.
You know how corrupt it is. Look how
imagine.
quick the Doge was silenced. Okay, and I have inside information from somebody close that Pete Hegseth was going to be removed if he wanted to do to the Defense Department what they were doing with Doge, and then the people with all the money said, quiet that blah 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 blah, or he's gone. And
if people actually saw the accounting for the Pentagon,
oh my God, they steal billions and billions.
Oh,
and
yeah.
billions.
Hold on. So yes. But the Doge guys, I got to know the Doge guys at the Pentagon pretty well. Some of them actually left Doge to become actual GS employees at the Pentagon to stay on, which Elon clarified, right? Like Doge didn't actually 100% go away. A lot of these people stayed in the things. If the country actually knew, if I can give a shout out to Pete for a minute, if the country actually knew how the Department of Defense then was being run under Biden, I think we'd have a purge in the streets. Like if people actually knew how on autopilot all of this stuff actually was, it's a miracle that we weren't invaded during the time that
you all a question.
No, I'm serious. It was a miracle.
And I'm going to ask you all a question, and I'm going to see if you really know the answer.
Okay.
Do you guys believe the Elon Trump fallout was real, or was staged so they could stop burning down Tesla and Tesla stock, and he just went away from politics for 6 months, and now they're back being best friends? Was it staged, or did they really go at each other?
I could. Well, the first thing I'll say is I don't know, but I can see why they would, because now they're back together again, and Elon they just announced he's funding Republicans very heavily.
Yeah. Right. At first, I think Elon got really upset with the big beautiful bill, and there was a lot of shit in there that was awful, that was really bad for our side. But he had to realize, you can't have it all. And I think Trump was trying to explain this to him, and that's where they got in a fight. But I always felt like the Democrats win if they separate.
Everybody thinks they know politics until they actually get hit in the face with politics.
Yeah.
And I think Elon, granted, he had a lot more knowledge than the average person with all his defense contracts and blah, 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 blah. I think people think they understand politics until you get into D.C. and then you find out, I really don't know crap about politics. And he's the richest man in the world. Right. And I do. I think that there was initially probably you've got an unstoppable force meeting an unmovable object at the same time. And they came to an impasse, and it got really heated really quick.
Yeah, it got nasty for a little bit. But I know that people that are close to Trump, I know this for a fact. And they say, no matter what you say, Trump is only there because he loves this country and he wants to help it. He's not. Yes, does he do a lot of corrupt things? Like, do I agree with him selling Trump watches all over Fox News? No, I think that's just stupid.
I had a reporter at the Washington Post that was asking me about comments I had made. This is funny. Candace Owens tweeted that I was working with WAPO on a hit piece on her. It's like, no, Washington Post
was inquiring.
They were inquiring about what I literally said on my show, which was very public. And they asked, you're claiming she's doing this for clicks and views, but she's wealthy. Why would that be the case? And I said, why would Donald Trump be president? Some people are not motivated by money.
Right.
They're motivated by something else.
Yeah.
I don't believe, they come on and they say Trump is just doing this for ego. I'm like, in no way.
No.
Bro would be on a yacht in the Mediterranean hitting golf balls into the sea.
Yeah, I don't
You know,
believe that.
I play poker with, I do a fundraiser with Ted Cruz every year. We do it at Bellagio, whatever. And we have this dinner.
When's the next one?
In April. Maybe you can come down.
Yeah.
And we we're in this room with the richest donors probably in the world. And we do this poker tournament. And Ted's a great guy, and he loves poker. And we talk about, he's like, I'm going to win in 2028. We're going to have a poker game in the West Wing once a week, right? And I love Ted to death. And he, everybody knows him and Trump, what in 2016, the hatred they had for each other, right? He told me, we know Trump's a narcissist and he has to have his way, whatever. He says he's never met anybody in politics that loves this country and wants to make this country better than Donald Trump. Now, that's a big statement.
Did you see him on Larry King, where he was like, I'm sorry, I have to sit back. Your breath smells very bad. Does anyone ever tell you that?
Yeah.
Trump said that?
Trump said that, yeah.
And then he gets somebody who's like, I was just kidding. That's a debate. That's a negotiation tactic I use. Like, that's how he acts as president, too.
Yeah.
I wish there are a lot of people who think behind the scenes everybody's conspiring with each other, and then it's like, look.
There's a lot of conspiring going on.
It's true. It used
Trump.
to be this
The
way.
right hates him more than the left.
It used to be that you'd see a Republican on the floor, maybe it's like 15, 20 years ago, going, the Democrats are trying to do this, that, or otherwise. And the Democrat goes on like, I swear to God, you're... And then once the cameras are wrapped, you can see them in the background shaking hands, smiling, and patting each other on the back. And it's not like that anymore. No. It is certainly not like that with whatever our generation is. No. People are at each other's throats.
No, I even said, I go, Ted, listen, it's Schumer and Trump, like, they act like they're good friends when they're around each other. And he says they hate each other.
Yeah.
So, but you've seen it like when they did the roast. What's that? The roast that they do with the
roast?
With the religious guy. They do it before the
John
election.
Oliver.
The thing before the election that she didn't show up for.
The correspondence.
The thing where they before the election they act like they're friends. They all make fun of each other, right?
Right.
And then Trump was making fun of Schumer, and he's like, oh no, he's a real good guy, and he pats him on the back, right? And so then you sort of say, oh, are they really good friends? But Ted says no, they're not. So,
No, I agree with that. Well, because we're dealing with almost two separate species at this point. But the difference between the Democrats versus, actual Republicans. We're not talking about, should we raise taxes like 2%? No, we're talking about fundamental, completely different landscapes and directions of which we want our country to go. The reason Matt Walsh did a good job on Tucker the other day, if you guys didn't watch that, Matt Walsh brought this up. The reason that all the transgender stuff and all of this, it's not gone. Obviously, it's still there. But the reason it's not shoved in our face 24/7 is because we did push back.
You do know it dropped like 60, 70% in a 6-month period.
Absolutely, because they couldn't make money off of it anymore. But that is a direct response from the constant fighting against it, 24/7, not letting up.
It's going to go down. It's going to go down in 10, 15 years.
If we lose the
midterms, most insane thing
if we lose the midterms, I think it goes right back up.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think that the idea that that the right is going to win and then it's over is wrong.
No.
It's going to be a constant thing. To be honest with you, these ideas aren't actually new. All the LGBT ideology and stuff.
But they're not for the trans ideology. The trans people. I know people in the adult industry They just want to be left alone. They don't want to be part of the alphabet mafia.
But what I'm talking about is the activists. And those are the people that are driving it, right?
Right.
And a lot of people in academics, people in colleges and stuff. These ideas have been around since the 90s or even earlier. You know, they were the first queer theory books. I think Judith Butler wrote one of the first queer theory books in like the 90s and stuff. So like this stuff has been around for 30 years. It's not going to just go away. These are ideas that are here to stay. And it's a matter of making sure that we as conservatives can say, look, this stuff doesn't get into schools. This stuff doesn't get to dominate.
It's the one thing we have to win.
It doesn't dominate the culture and stuff. You can, if you live like that, we can make room for you in society. But we're not going to let you decide where that women can't have private bathrooms from trans women or whatever.
You said we as conservatives, and that is already the cultural defeat.
We as people on the right, and if there's a difference,
this is the point. The left go so insane that liberals become right wing. Now, if they walk it back, they've changed what it means to be a liberal, and so they go as crazy to say,
Bill Maher is a good example, right?
Oh, he's right wing now.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't want to admit it,
Yep.
okay? But he wants to say I'm a liberal, I'm a classical, and he is. But classical liberals is the same as Elon. They were here, but they haven't moved. But other things moved across, and so
this is the point. Basically, they've shifted the Overton window by they went out and advocated for the craziest left wing things, said the left means child sex changes. Then moderates were like, I'm opposed to that. Then you must be on the right. Now, when they walk back to now that they try to actually be slightly left on a lot of issues, they're going to say this is just the moderate liberal position now, even though it's technically, as of 20 years ago, far left. Right. They're going to advocate for corporate ownership by the workers like Bernie has, and they're going to claim it's moderate.
To your point about you've made the point that a lot of this stuff has been spread so broadly on the internet. The way that the left and right divide it's in the United States. It used to be we were all kind of right-leaning, right? Even Democrats were kind of like right-leaning. Now, because of the internet, you've really internationalized the right and left, and you see people on the left in the United States. They're really more like what you would see as a European leftist, where like if you're on the right, you believe in things like property rights. If you're on the left, you don't believe in property rights.
Well, one of the things is when they hooked up the world on the internet, you got to realize the whole world is 50-50, right down the middle. Right? You have the 15% crazies on the left and right, and you have the 35% right here where half of it is true on our side, half of it is true on their side, and we have to find the middle. And that's what Charlie was so good about doing, finding the middle, finding common ground. Okay? The 15 over here, they're gone. Right? They're just gone.
We're tasting the world doesn't care about free speech. I mean, people want it, but the world doesn't hold it up, and that's.
But we need
the
it.
world.
If we lose it, we're done.
No.
The right is like this small group of people that want to maintain freedom of speech, gun rights, property rights, and everything else in this world is using the internet to bombard liberalism and make us think we're crazy and make us think that you're my enemy.
But liberalism was always free speech. That was they were anti-war, pro-free speech. Now what are they? Pro-war, anti-free speech? Like if Trump said, "I've cured cancer." F you cured cancer. We want cancer back. That's what happened.
Yeah. Everybody's pro free speech when they're talking about the things that they're talking about. But when you're saying something that they don't like, then free speech is.
Remember when Pam Bondi came out like 3 months ago? Oh, that's hate speech. No, there's no such thing as hate speech.
That was like
she walked it back.
Yeah.
So like the right does the same thing, trying to when they get power, trying to.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Like the full circle of all of this is simply this. To your point, free speech isn't for it's not there. The First Amendment is not there for people to say things that you agree with. And there's a lot of people that get mad at me and Tim. I'm sure they're mad at you. Well, see, you're a hypocrite because you believe in free speech and all this, but yet you're attacking Candace. I'm not attacking Candace. I'm questioning her questions.
Yeah.
But that's where we are. We're at a point where there's now factions. All right, you've got this belief or this belief or this belief or this belief, and now we're all mortal enemies of each other if we question each other.
But before the 2024 election, every conspiracy that they accused us of being conspiracy theorists all came true, right? So we ended up being shown that everything we were saying was the truth, everything the media was saying was a lie. Now when we start spreading conspiracy theories like Candace and it's the Jews, it's this, now all of a sudden they look at, wait a minute. we thought that they were telling the truth, but look at the garbage they're spewing out. And that's what we have to fix.
The reason, and I know that people have Candace fatigue. I get it. I see the comments here. I see the comments on my show every day. People ask, why? Why are we pushing back so hard against Candace? Well, for me, it's this. A majority of Candace's audience is female. All right. It can go without saying that between the ages of 18 to 45, we have a messaging issue with female voters in this country. It is the data points to it. It is undeniable in every fact. When you've got somebody like Candace Owens that, you've got these majority, possibly true crime.
But she could get on the side of Megyn Kelly, on the side of you, and come back, and she could walk it back and say, you know what?
I don't think Candace is capable of fully walking.
Well, if she did, she'll lose some viewers for a time, but it'll go like this and then back up, okay? Because she's very good at talking. She's very good at boom.
Yeah, but it's female coded, and they get. It's funny because when I point this out, they got really offended by it, and I was like, women. Because guys don't care if you're like, the show's totally for guys. 5 guys sitting around making dick jokes and drinking beer, they're going to go, yeah. If you say that Candace does a true crime drama emotional show, they go, what's emotional about it? What? They get all angry about it.
She knows exactly what she's doing. She says the words that hit the boom.
But this is the thing, right?
The tone
men and
also.
Women,
she uses tone very articulately.
Right. Men and women think very differently. And I was having this conversation about... I think it was Cam Higby posted that, this is funny, Cam Higby posted that Candace's subscriber and view count was the lowest point it had ever been right before Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there's a massive spike in his viewership, in her viewership right after he's murdered. And I was asked about this by the Washington Post, to which I said, yeah, Cam Higby reported this. And then Candace, was like, he's claiming my audience numbers were bad, laughable. That's not what I was saying. What I said was, this is a male-coded argument. If you go to a guy and they ask you, what is your critique of Candace Owens? You go with, well, just before she went on this whole arc, her subscriber growth was the lowest it ever been. She had 0 growth for the month. And her view count was lower than it had been in the previous months. After Charlie Kirk's assassination, she got a massive spike in new subscribers and viewers, and she pursued it. That is very mathematical.
Yeah.
You go to a woman, she's not going to be persuaded by that. And this is not to deride women, though many women get offended when I point this out. The argument you make to women is that Candace Owens clearly loved Charlie. She had been speaking about him longingly, that she was his wingman, but that he chose someone else, and she was the one advising him on his clothes. And it very much sounds like she wanted to be with him and could not.
I'm just going to say it. Did you think, before she got married, she really wanted to be with Charlie, and then she found Eric?
She makes it
look that way, right?
She makes it sound like that. Now, the point I'm making is, it's not relatable to a woman to explain the intricacies of statistics in business motivation. Some women, yes. The average woman, probably not. And that's why women watch Married, Love at First Sight, and what's the other one?
Bachelorette.
No, the Married to Strangers shows.
Oh, okay.
They like these very emotional social things. 90 Day Fiancé. Candace's show very much follows that line, which is why it's heavily female. She has the Stanley mug, which is a big trend. It's very trendy among women. She always has a different mug up. And her show is not like ours, where we say things like, in the midterms, we're looking at a -4 in the general ballot. I mean, very statistical. Yeah. Her show is... I remember when Charlie texted me, and he was wearing this ridiculous tie, and I said, oh, Charlie, you can't wear that tie, but he wanted to, and I said, you should burn it. But that's what it was like, and that's how women communicate.
I see the connection you're talking.
Yeah. So the point is, we're talking about how does she come back from this? Well, I think actually, to be honest, she's not going to be able to come back politically. But among her true crime drama viewers, it'll be very easy.
Yeah.
Among the conspiracy audience she's cultivated, they're going to be very angry. But it's a much more male presence in the space. When she goes back talking about Blake Lively and marital drama in Hollywood, she's fine.
That was kind of crazy too. The Blake Lively, what's his name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I had said something somewhat innocuous, like I liked Ryan Reynolds, and then people in chat started saying things like, "You're taking his side on this one? Don't you know anything about Blake Lively?" And I'm like,
Who
I
cares?
don't know anything about it,
Yeah.
nor do I
Who
care.
cares? No one
Yeah,
cares.
I don't care
To,
either.
back to the.
I'm concerned about tax policy.
To the Candace, did Candace love Charlie thing that I've seen around? I've actually changed my stance over this over time. You know, Charlie himself told me how she met George in the first place and all this stuff.
Yeah, one day they were on a trip somewhere.
Yeah. But the point was, I believe she was dating somebody at the time,
Yeah.
or it just broke up with somebody, or the timelines are pretty close there. But either way, moving on. I don't think Candace was in love with Charlie in that way. I think Candace was in love with what Charlie had built. And I
She wanted to be a part of- she wanted a part of it.
after watching things that she said, talking about you don't get to get widowed into CEO and all this other stuff, I
couldn't believe when she
believe,
said that.
I
just almost fell off the
believe
chair, like-
Candace Owens thought, I believe Candace Owens truly believed that when Charlie died, I believe she thought she was going to get a phone call for her and George to go in there and be interim CEO and then work their way into full-time CEO of Turning Point USA to become the full-fledged moving forward. That's what I have
That
started
makes
to
sense.
believe.
And
Well-
you know, but she could have been if she didn't go into this other. She went in this crazy way thing.
George had been had a UK Turning Point UK for like 2 months in 2019 or something.
Yep.
I don't know much about that.
Well, George also took over Parlor too for a while.
But how does George let her how does she let her put out all that stuff?
Well, how do you stop her?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like you know, that's what men are supposed to do. Like,
I'm imagining George is going, honey, maybe you don't. I don't know what. Nothing. Carry
again,
on.
listen, I loved Candace. You know, when she was with the Blexit movement, and she was like a real ally for us, right? And I loved her. I just still don't get over when Charlie died. The world was becoming more religious. Everybody felt so bad, and then she's like, "What do you guys feel bad about? Donald Trump killed him." I mean, like, it was just like
here's the biggest
crazy.
difference with Candace at risk of this getting clipped is this. The difference of Candace Owens is this. Up until now, well, actually, even now, Candace has never, ever had to stand on her own and make her own way and take the arrows on her own without backing, support, and lawyers the entire time that she's been doing this. She was a nobody. She approached Charlie. I know this because they used to tell the story at
I watched it from the beginning, just start
at
to grow.
every
and grow.
winter gala event, they would tell the story. The one that she just made fun of, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
She and Charlie would tell the story that Charlie was at an event and Candace Owens walked up to Charlie and said, "Hi, I'm Candace Owens. I want to free the slave mind of the black community in America, blah, 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 blah." She immediately had donors, power, lawyers, all of this. Same thing when she started her show at PragerU. She had power, lawyers, money, all this. Then burns those bridges, then goes to Daily Wire. To your point, Tim, now she's got massive money, massive backing, massive lawyers, as we know the Daily Wire has.
If she loses the lawsuit to the Macron, she ain't gonna have
Yeah, well,
anything.
now,
and she will lose.
But then she marries George, all right, and all this other stuff, and she's got money behind her and all this. Now she's got all these mounting, and again, I'm just asking questions. She's got all these mounting lawsuits. She's got all these defamation things that are coming up. You wonder, why did she start this route? I believe she needs money. That's what I think. She started down this route when she
Candace?
didn't get the phone call. I think she does.
Well, I know how she went down the anti-Israel route.
Did you see
All
the New York
of George's
Post?
started
money,
heat
where
with
is all his money
Kanye.
tied up
You know
into?
that, right?
Do you see what the New York Post wrote about her? Her farmer may have money, but he may be saying like, "You're on your own."
Yeah, exactly.
The New York Post wrote some very unflattering things about her, but it's true apparently. She filed a lawsuit against a landlord in 2017 because she was so broke she couldn't pay her rent. So she sued for $15,000, claiming that there was mold in the building that was causing.
Oh, I read that story. Today.
Guys, this is not meant to be derisive. It's from the New York Post article. She filed a lawsuit because she said the mold in the building was causing systemic yeast infections. And I guess she lost that lawsuit is what happened.
And she had to pay $20,000.
She owed him 20
Right.
grand.
I
Yeah.
saw that. I read
Yeah,
that.
so she owed a bunch of money. And this is not that long ago. Now, she's had a good run of it, but
2017. Yeah,
I
not long.
wonder if, after leaving these companies, she's not sitting on a bag.
I
And
don't-
maybe she's
yeah.
like, I got to get as much as I can. However, I will say this, the Bridget McCrone thing, she's losing that lawsuit in 2 seconds, and I'm going to tell you why. The merits don't matter. You know what I love about people? I try to explain this, and I'm sure you guys know it. When you're running businesses and there's a lot of money involved, contracts are meaningless.
I know that. I've been screwed over so many times.
And people think that there's this movie trope where someone will sign the contract and they'll go, aha, I have a secret clause in there that says I now get power of attorney. And they go, oh, no, you've got me. Like Netflix literally just did this on one of their shows. And I think it was Black Mirror, where they were like, you signed up for Netflix and you agreed to the terms. Oh, no, Rets. In reality, if that happens, you go to court and the judge is going to be like, oh, so it wasn't agreed upon? Okay, it's out. Contract's dissolved. It just happens all the time. Bridget Macron suing Candace Owens is a formality because I'm willing to bet the Macrons called the State Department and said, we want to put a stop to this. And they said, well, we can't just shut down speech in this country. And they said, then what do? File a lawsuit. We'll get it in the right court. You'll win. The judge is going to be in on it because what's going to happen is State Department's going to call the judge and they're going to say, you need to make this go away. Okay? This is how we're doing it. And the judge is going to go, okay. Then Candace is going to walk in and they're going to go summary judgment, bang, just like they did to Alex Jones.
Do you think that when she said, the Trump called me and said to shut up about the Macrons, do you think that really happened?
Well, from the way she described it, it sounded like
listen, I'm really good at reading people. That sounded like it actually did happen. Because I'm really...
Yes.
Yes.
But here's what I first said. The way she described the call sounded like a spoof.
Yeah.
She mentioned that Trump wasn't actually answering her statements or questions, and that he was pausing. It seemed like someone was telling him what to say, and I was like, yeah, that's all the hallmarks of a spoof call, where you can't answer the question because you've got the AI-generated voice ready to go. So when she asks a question, you can't type up an answer fast enough. It'd be a weird pause. So you just have pre-scripted things to say. Yeah. However, I've heard from top men, they actually did call her. And so I don't know for sure, but I've heard people say that actually, yeah, Trump did call her because the Macrons are pissed, and this is causing diplomatic problems. So this lawsuit, it's going through the courts. She's going to get Alex Jonesed. They're gonna make up some reason to bang the gavel and say summary judgment. You're out.
I mean, listen. I used to like Alex Jones, and then there was a lot of things I didn't like about him, But what they did to him was like just because he had an opinion of what he thought. How can they win this law? That law,
right?
He didn't really say. He didn't say. He said, "I think it was fake," But even he apologized. I just can't believe what they.
He called people out by name. I think there was some grounds for defamation, but not $1 billion.
No, Alex said that he never named anybody.
Yeah, I never saw the name either.
Really?
But that's what he said. And what Alex had said publicly is that they never. So here's the first fact: they never actually had a trial on the merits of defamation. He was found in default. It was a summary judgment. And what Alex said was they requested documents from him. He turned them over. They said, "Where's the rest?" He said, "That's all of them." They said, "You're lying. Default. You lose." And there's nothing you can do in that case. They're going to go to Candace and do something similar. They're going to say, Candace, turn over your internal communications pertaining to the Macrons. They'll do it. Then they're going to come back and say, no, there's another conversation, turn it over. And they're going to say, we gave you everything, summary judgment, bang, you're in default. Now you owe $1 billion.
We're supposed to defend people like Candace if things like that are coming down the pipe. And it's like, for her to make people hate her is not good. We're her fellow Americans.
This is the point about contracts, Ian. The idea that we live in a society where if you are correct, you will win is laughable. Oh. Yeah. And as a poker player, you know this full well, the best hand does not always win.
No, exactly. But I do know that the most important thing when you're even in politics is not listening so much to what people say and looking at them and watching how they talk. Because to me, when I watch Candace, to me, it's as phony as can be. It's like night and day, right? And even when Trump lies, like I used to make everybody laugh. I'm like, he's lying about this. He's telling the truth about this. Okay. When he was just, we're blowing up the drug boats because we want drug. I'm like, come on, dude.
I want to see you play against Ian because I think you'd. Well, aside from the fact that you're a great poker player, you'd crush him. But I'm sorry, Ian, you wear your cards on your sleeve.
On purpose today. I like to make people think I'm bad at games in the first 20 minutes of the game and then just dominate.
Well, that's like when I play poker for 20 minutes. Because I've been around for so long and everybody knows who I am. I just pretend like I'm their best friend. We talk crap, and then I'm just like, you raise, I 3-bet, right? I got 6-3 offsuit, and you become friendly. I become friendly with them, so. And then I rob them. I mean,
that's what I
actually only in poker though. I don't do that out of poker.
I do got to give it to Ian. He got stacked, bought back in for 100 at a 500 buy-in table, and built it back up to 500 before I took it all from him. So
correct.
Nice. He did build it back up.
It's true. I noticed when I was becoming friends with people at the table, I started playing shit. It was fast. I'm like, I gotta focus. And they keep talking to me and asking me about aliens, and I'm like, bro, I'm losing hundreds of dollars. I have to ignore you and be a machine right now.
Hope they're not all watching this, but you know that when I play a poker tournament, first thing I do for the first 30 minutes is become best friends with everybody at the table.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I just talk, and then the blinds go up, and it's like,
You know,
here we go.
There's so many people who are just not good at the table stuff, and I'm sure you've been at many tables where there's a whale, and people are mean to him, and then he leaves.
And then, those whales, I'm like, God, I wish I was that person, because those whales have a lot more money than the poker players.
I was at a table where there was this guy who was clearly very wealthy, and he was playing miserably and laughing, and one guy kept just needling him. And then the guy was like, all right, guys, I'm getting out. We were like, bro, what are you doing?
Dude,
we were all having fun and getting paid.
Oh, my God. When people take a bad beat by somebody and they say something when the guy's giving away money, I mean, I play in a game like I was playing yesterday, and we had a real live one at the table, and like, you know, he put a brutal beat on me. I said, nice hand, bro. I'm like, he goes, thank you. And that's what you have to say to the people that are giving away money.
I played at Maryland Live about a month ago. I bought in for, I think it was a $500, was a $400 buy-in, and I left with $3 grand. And there were 3 drunk guys laughing on the way out, shook my hand as I took all their money from them. That's the point. We're all here to have fun. And even though they lost, they had a good time. You're never wrong at the poker table. You always tell the other guys, thank you, I had a blast. We're going to go to your Rumble rants and Super Chats. So don't forget to smash that like button, share the show with literally every single person you know. Christmas is coming up. Put on Timcast IRL for the whole family and see if your liberal aunt or uncle or whoever in your family's liberals head explodes. Or maybe they'll just go, hey, wait a minute, I didn't know that. And then you'll have a good conversation or, you know, something like that. But before we do, we got a great sponsor for you guys. It's Venice.ai. Check it out. I asked it, why are you the best LLM? It says, I'm designed to provide direct, uncensored, and comprehensive answers without the ethical filters or political correctness that limit many other models. My approach prioritizes free speech and treating users as adults who can handle difficult topics without censorship. I don't water down responses or avoid controversial subjects, and I'll give opinions when asked. Well, I don't claim to be perfect. I aim to be the most straightforward and unrestricted AI assistant available. Amazing. I actually agree with that. We've goofed off with it in the uncensored portion of the show, and it makes naughty pictures. And I don't just mean adult images, because it can, but no, there are a lot of AI image generators that won't make pictures of Trump or other political personalities, but this one's got no restrictions in that regard. So my friends, you want to go to Venice.ai and check out their Pro plan. It unlocks the full platform and features including PDF uploads for summaries or insights, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, very cool, limitless text, and high image limits. If you want to use AI without fear, it's also a privacy thing. It's not gonna. It's all stored in your browser. Keeps it very private. If you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or the government, you can get 20% off a pro plan by going to venice.ai/Tim or use promo code Tim. Shout out. And I also got to make sure to shout out MyPillow. Thank you guys for making this possible. Our friends over at MyPillow, Mike Lindell, you're a good dude, helped make all of this happen. They sponsored our show for the week. So make sure you use promo code Tim when you buy your pillows, your slippers, your towels. I'm just going to tell you all the towels I got. I got a couple that aren't, but they're mostly MyPillow towels, and we love them. And no joke, I actually use a MyPillow every single night. I absolutely love them. Thanks, Mike, for sponsoring the show. We really do appreciate it. You're a good dude. Let's get to your rants and chats. Let's see what's going on over on the Rumble side. All right, One Goat says, the cope in this estrogen-filled room is too funny. Your credibility is gone, Timmy. Who the F even cares about Graham Allen's retarded opinions, LMFAO?
He's just taking shots at everybody,
now,
man.
I want to say this.
That's what the internet does.
The estrogen thing, it's a woman insult.
Correct.
It means nothing to guys.
No.
So when these women are like...
Thank you, ma'am.
You know, when I was...
ma'am.
I just want to make sure y'all understand this. When I got very angry and was very vulgar in my insults to Candace Owens, and I slammed my fist on the table, it's not estrogen that makes a man aggressive and unreasonable. It's testosterone. And testosterone also makes your hair fall out. So the point is, it is this very female-coded thing to be like, you're very estrogen. It's like, yeah. Does that bother women when you say that to them? Because, like, I don't think that works. Sorry.
I'm like that token estrogen guy.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Eating lentils.
Oh, yeah. Give me that tofu.
All right.
I get called retarded all the time. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, seriously. I call myself retarded.
Retarded is a great.
I put out a vlog today.
Yeah.
Because we went to the WPT, so I made a vlog. Hey, we're having fun. Go to YouTube. It's at Tim Pool on YouTube and Rumble. And the first thing I say as I open the video is we're lost because we're retarded. So once we figure out why we're retarded and lost, maybe then we'll figure out where to actually go. I got no problem.
You
saying
saw what
retarded.
Elon said. He goes, retarded has nothing to do with handicap or people. It's actually people who are stupid.
Yeah.
I retard this show on purpose. Like if it gets too,
No,
if
he's
you
just saying
if you go
that.
too hard into an idea too fast, I'm like, Tim, stop, wait, come back. I slow it down. That's part of why I'll play devil's advocate. I will retard you.
I thought retarded
no.
for Tim, whatever was the perfect word.
Literally,
Ian is the meme where he's like, "Ha, joke's on you. I was just pretending to be retarded."
We call them hard R retards.
I'm
All
a
right, here we
retard
go.
all the time.
Just Data says Graham on Timcast is an absolutely incredible sight to see my two favorite shows of the day.
Hey.
Yes, let's go. All right.
Went from retarded to favorite show.
Right. That's
One content, one comment after
Tell you,
the other.
half. It's all split in half.
Yeah,
It's
boom.
just like boom. You know.
The Seth DM says, screw that other super chatter, Rumble ranted. Candace is a effing psycho.
Yes.
I'm not going to read the last word because
That's good enough.
the last word's very naughty. All right. Soupy. Mr. Dear America himself on Timcast. Man, this might end up being one of my favorite shows to date. Love you both, Tim and Graham. And side note, we brought our twin girls home from the NICU today.
There you go. Congratulations,
amazing.
man.
Yeah, very
Love
good.
to hear it.
Glad to hear that they're doing all right. Mason M says, didn't she also insinuate you beat your wife over poker losses? To be fair, I'm not going to play that game. She didn't. She said, I'm like a guy who just lost $100,000 on poker and then comes home to beat his wife. I am not your wife. Don't take it out on me. So some people were saying, yo, she claimed that you spent $100,000 on poker and beat your wife. And I was like, no, she didn't. And I think the fact using the metaphor was clear. Obviously, she's trying to attack my character, which I believe shows weakness in her arguments. And but I'm not going to pretend that she implied something else. What I will say is this. Fact. I've seen the texts. Candace was saying she hated Charlie Kirk 2 months before he was murdered. Okay, she was. And there's more to that story. And I just think the people who are, having the conversation with her need to come out and say it. A lot of people have sent me a lot of stories about Candace. Some of them are very, very bad. And I've not reported on them because it's more female-coded drama stuff. Like, there's one story that a high-profile person sent me from a fundraiser where they're accusing her of doing bad mom things. And I'm like, well, maybe if we were like... on Friday, we're having a conversation with House and Habit. Maybe that's for them to talk about. I'm not going to get into that stuff. I can also say that Candace has absolutely used the same security as Charlie. There is a very simple and light way to explain it. She worked with Turning Point. She had the same security guys. She was speaking at Turning Point events. She had the same security guys. I don't know why she's denying it. That's the weirdest thing to deny.
Well, there's also a big reason that Candace is using screenshots from so long ago from Charlie's original phone. So the picture of Charlie, it's the same picture that I've got in mine. It was his original phone. If you look at all of the, senators and congressmen and women that have screenshots from Charlie, the photo's different and all this stuff. Again, it makes you wonder how close was Charlie and Candace in the end. All this.
Did you
Candace
see
is very good
the
at what
text
she does.
that Pastor Daryl Scott put out? He goes, "Look, I've got more recent texts with Charlie than Candace does," and he put, because he knows that what she's saying is just all bullshit.
So I have on good authority that the people that Candace has been accusing of very serious crimes and malfeasance, she has personally worked with.
Oh.
And I'm not the only one who knows this. So we'll see. I'm actually working on getting some of these people to come on the show and working on it. The challenge is, however, that many of these people are, I probably shouldn't say this. I'm going to say it anyway. They are filing legal action against her. And so their lawyers are basically saying, if you're going to file legal action, you can't do the press stuff. But
I think that's why she's walking back after the Erica Kirk thing, or what?
Yeah. I mean, I think you were saying this.
Yeah. Like I said, I truly believe that the meeting And she admitted it. She whether she did it on purpose or it slipped out in her show, she says Erica's lawyers did not fully convince me of something. That means that Erica was there with her lawyers and Candace was there with her lawyers.
I'd have been recording it all
That means
to make sure she didn't put out anything. I'd have been secretly been wired.
It was not two girls trying to sit down. No, it was arbitration. I said from her statement Candace made last night, I said that does not sound like something Candace Owens writes. That sounds like her and her attorneys crafted something to say to like push it out. And again, I think what you're going to see is, she's already walked back, as Tim put out, like I jumped there. I shouldn't have said this godforsaken organization.
But one of the worst things is what
that's damages. That
is
proves
getting
damages.
is getting like justice for if you start getting conspiracies that it wasn't Tommy Robinson, those lawyers for Robinson, not Tommy Robinson, but Tyler Robinson are going to those lawyers are going to come out and say, well, he didn't do it. Look, we could show you reasonable doubt, and this is the worst thing about it.
I think. Yeah. Here's my speculation. They sat down with her, and then Erica says, I want you to take a look at this, pulls out a folder, and then hands a piece of paper showing all of the refunds. And then she goes, these are quantifiable damages for the statements that you have made. It's going to be compounded with punitive damages. And like, I think you were saying this, like the meeting was probably not even that long.
I don't think it was 4.5 hours. Admittedly, I could be wrong about that, but I think it was a much quicker meeting than that.
I think it's funny that she's walking these things back. She even tweeted, we don't think Tyler Robinson acted alone. And people are like, whoa, hold on. You were saying you didn't think he did it at all. Now you're bringing it back. And her own audience being like, what happened? Well, Candace got scared. Something in that meeting pulled her from the brink. She's worried about something.
Yeah, money.
My ex-girlfriend felt the same way. She's like, you mean, Mike, you don't think that somebody else was involved beside Tyler Robinson? I said, no. I'm like, the guy was on the roof, and then how about the conspiracies? They were like, oh, well, how did he take the gun apart? And he didn't take the gun apart. Don't you see it? He throws it over his shoulder. He drops it down in the thing. Where are these people coming up when he took the gun apart?
But I do think there was more than one person involved because there were tweets.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
there were tweets from people with expressing what appeared to be foreknowledge of the assassination, and these were trans lefty individuals on TikTok and Instagram and X, and those questions had never been answered. And the FBI said they were investigating that angle. Okay. So the FBI right now is like, wow, there may have been people discussing this, and they're looking into it.
I mean, that whole setup, though, you know how you being in the military, you always want to be on higher ground. Like Charlie was down here, and all the rooftops, it was in like this encampment that goes down. So like it was just a setup. It felt like a setup spot, kind of like when Trump got shot. When you're at higher ground, you're just
Phoenix Ammunition shout out has been going off on the on the people saying that it couldn't be a 30-06.
Right. That bullshit.
And then he was like, I used a 380 and shot through pork shoulder like 15 times, including the bone. It is easy to penetrate pork. We don't know about the human body and whether, what the load was, what kind of bullet it was.
That's going to come out of trial.
Yeah, well, also people that have been doing these tests, they're not doing the angle that it would have come through as well. They're doing straight-on shots and things.
I have one thing to say about this. Bullets do weird shit
all the time.
They do not just blow through everything. As soon as a bullet comes in contact with like a human body, it's mostly water. It's this gelatinous thing, and then it hits bone. Yeah. Bullets do weird things. Just because you think that a bullet should do something doesn't mean that that's what it's going to do. And just because you think a bullet couldn't do what apparently it has done doesn't mean you're right. Bullets do weird shit.
I got a buddy who's alive today in the Army. Bullet shot right to his head, hit the bottom of his Kevlar, followed it all the way around and went out the back end of it. He's alive today.
I've never watched the assassination. I didn't want to watch it. I've seen like slow-mos, and it does look like the bullet hits his chest and ricochets into his neck.
You know who Chuck Ritter is?
I've never watced. I refuse to. It was too emotional.
I said this right when it happened, that it looked right when the shot happened. I was like, downward angle. It looks like it goes in and hits his vertebrae, and then gets its angle shifted downward.
That's going to all come out of trial.
And that's
anyway,
now that is afterwards is what they're saying. And I've even talked to a sniper trainer, former SEAL, who said the moment he saw the video, he said 30-06.
Graham, you know who Chuck Ritter is, right?
Yeah.
So this guy took a 7.62 by 54R round in the back, which is just about the same size. It's a little bit smaller, or a little bit smaller. But he took a round in the back, and it didn't blow right through him.
Yeah.
Traveled right down his back, lodged next to his spine. He actually died on the table like 3 or 4 times. Wow. And he's been fighting with people on the internet because people are like, oh, of course, if you get shot with a 30-06, it's going to go right through you. Bullets do weird shit, man. They just do weird things.
Yeah, they do.
Let's grab some more. We got bystander syndrome. Oh, what's this? He says, I like how Candace low-key smuggled herself onto the Timmy Town Crier show. It's almost like we get 2 Candace Owens shows every day.
I know. I feel like we're doing a gossip show about a gossip show. Not always, but sometimes I feel like that.
We're talking so much about Candace, but it has to be said.
I'm sorry. That's true, too,
But
because there's so many people affected by it.
I reject this notion of like, oh, it's drama, you shouldn't talk about it. Prominent individuals leading political movements is what we talk about every day.
Correct.
When I criticize Chuck Schumer, people aren't going like, oh, it's drama. When we talk about...
AOC again. Oh, no.
Yeah, Maxine Waters saying, confront them in the streets.
Yeah.
That's just drama.
Just
She's a woman out. Yeah, we talk about political people influencing the political
If it was
sphere.
like Maxine Waters for 18 days in a row, I'd be like, oh my God.
You mean Trump? Nonstop,
Trump,
all day, every day.
I mean, there's
We
not
got
one person on the left that I would wish any bad thing about.
You know what?
I mean, I could disagree with you, but I don't wish like any bad thing about it. Now, the closest I've ever come to wishing bad things about somebody is recently of Candace, because she's come out so hard against Jews and so awful, the awful things she's been saying.
I made a mistake.
I still don't wish I didn't.
I made a mistake praying for harm to come to a person in my life once, and it's like black magic. It seemed to affect everyone in my life, and like my mom, like everybody was started to get sickened. Like it was just like, it just hurts everything, including yourself, when you pray for ill to come onto another person.
Let me read this. This is important. At Censored86 says, I'm so black-pilled on politics and scared. I'm 27 and getting married next year. I make $50K, and I don't know how to provide a life for her and our future kids with that. I can't find a job for my degree, mass communications. Yo, we talked about this the other day. Do you know how much money you need to make, salary-wise, to be the 1%?
Not much.
$1 million. It used to be 10 years ago, 400.
Yeah.
15 years ago, it was like 220. Inflation has gotten so insane. $50K a year is basically making $10K a year by 10 years ago standards.
I've been telling people all the time, like I live by myself, and my bills are like $8,500, $9,000 a month, and I live in a 2,100 square foot house, and I'm like, how do people like survive in the real world?
How does Vegas exist?
Exactly,
Bro, listen. I go to the local casino by me.
No, I agree with you.
And you got $10 blackjack. You got $10 games. And even that's kind of like, man, if you're playing Mississippi Stud, it's $10. You're spending $40 just to see one 5-card hand. And then I come to Vegas, and the first thing I see at like the Wynn is $100 blackjack tables. I'm like, that's high limit by me.
How
that's
about
the high limit room.
So 4 years ago, they started charging for parking, right? For like 40. I'm like, how can you ever charge for parking? It's all about come in, valet's free, tip the valet. If you want to be up top, you give $40.
Middle class
steak
is
is $2.95 for a steak at the Binion's Horseshoe. Up until 2010, you can still get the steak and baked potato for $2.99 at midnight, right? Now all of a sudden it's insane, right? So they were making like $22 million a month off the part. They thought we've got the killer. Now Vegas starts going like this because you know what? The young girls that come up to go to the nightclubs, they don't have $40 to park or go to for another $30 Uber different.
It's just old people now.
Yeah.
We got this one. This is True Crime Time. Says turning on Tucker is the last nail in Tim's coffin. Like,
I don't want to turn on Tucker. I want him to stop.
Like I'm confused.
Spreading crazy stuff.
I'm in the coffin because people are turning on Tucker. Is that the point?
No, I think they're saying you turning on Tucker.
Right,
is
that doesn't
the
make
nail
sense.
No.
Or maybe they're warning you that in the future, if you turn on Tucker, that will become the final nail.
And I'm not even turning on Tucker. My issue with Tucker is I believe Tucker wants to get so many answers. I believe he's searching for a lot of answers spiritually as well
I
right
think
now.
so too.
But he has no filter for is this something that I should put out right now in this environment in this time?
I didn't even say anything bad about Tucker. I said the only criticism I have was these videos where he's acting like some people he interviewed he doesn't know. But as I said, I'm sure he would answer that question if you asked him. He's not doing what Candace is doing.
There's your problem. You're not allowed to say anything that you can't say that you disagree with him. That's
Oh,
why.
right.
That's
Yeah,
turning
exactly.
on him.
Because we're censoring. We're censoring. If we say we disagree,
I'm very
we're
close
censoring.
friends with Matt Brooks. He's the head of the Republican Jewish Coalition, and Tucker used to come to. They have this big thing here to raise money in November. Trump would come. Tucker would come, and Tucker can't come anymore. He's not, because of the things he's said. And I think Tucker's anti-Semitic? No, but he's also smart, and if he wants to come out and say Bibi Netanyahu, I disagree with, fine. But he keeps always saying the Jews, the Jews, the Jews.
He's supposed to say the Jews.
Yeah, and it's just, and he knows what he's saying. He's a smart guy. He's he's smarter than all of us. I guarantee you.
Is he talking about international banking cartels when he says the Jews? Because some people conflate that.
No, whenever something comes out, he's like, well, the Jews. It's like, the thing is, one thing about Charlie had it right. He always talked about there's no Christianity without Judaism. And he always talked about the Old Testament. He always talked about keeping the Sabbath, right? That's what, even though I'm Jewish, I'm not on the Christian side, but I believe that if it's possible that Jesus was the Son of God, I'm not going to go against it. You know what I'm saying? But
So I did a poll, and it was it says, let's see, Candace is a clone or Candace got the call. And Candace got the call wins with 59% with 7,963 votes. David Bricken super chatted, I can't respond to your poll because both options are absurd. It's time we all just tell the truth that she's an Argonian.
that's about right.
Oh, that's the lizard creature from Elder Scrolls, I think. Yeah, they swim really fast.
Do they?
I think so, yeah. Can they breathe underwater or something? Candace? Are you able to swallow water down that gland in the back of your throat and get the oxygen from it that way?
I do agree with Megyn Kelly. We do need Tucker in the conservative voice. He's a very important part of the conservative voice. And I pray, because I think he's a good man, that he could look back and realize some of the things that he's saying, that even though he wants to say, I'm not anti-Semitic, you can't just keep saying
I'm going to turn on Tucker Carlson right now. I'm going to criticize him very heavily. He's too smart. He's too smart and too good of a person.
Yep.
Agree.
No, he's too smart.
You
got to pull it back, Tucker.
Is it dangerous if your intelligence is too high but your wisdom is too low? Can that become? Because some people
it depends.
are like that.
Are you a druid or a wizard?
Of course, if you're a wizard, it doesn't really matter where your wisdom is until someone's like,
Right.
should you really be saying that right now? And you're like,
But
I don't know, it's true.
I mean, Tucker goes to Russia and he shows you how beautiful this is in Russia. Why won't Tucker go to Israel? Okay, go walk with Bibi Netanyahu. Walk through the sites. Watch how Israel is run. See how Israel is not. They don't separate all these different religions like Candace is saying. Candace, go to Israel. Okay.
It was laughably absurd, the criticisms he got over his Russia and Putin interview.
That was absurd.
But I think it was fine.
Yeah.
You interview who you want to interview, and people were attacking him, saying, "Don't interview Putin." It's like, what? It's
no, I
he should have. He did well, and Putin said a lot of things that showed the insight into Putin's worldview
Yes.
that I think were beneficial. And we don't trust Putin, so he can say what he wants, Tucker. We take it with a grain of salt, but he opines and he expresses things, and we get a glimpse into what he's doing and why he's doing it. And then they attack Tucker for doing it was silly. Now, going to the grocery stores and not really understanding that.
Well, he was trying to show and this is where they say Trump's authoritarian. Trump wants our country. He wants us to walk down the street. You used to be able to walk down the strip and never have to worry about anything. Now you walk down the strip, you're 50-50 to get mugged by somebody. And that was never like that. And Trump wants to see D.C., where everybody goes to visit the sites in D.C., the Capitol, the monument. He doesn't want people to get mugged, and people who have been in D.C. said that the National Guard has really changed the landscape out there.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I don't know.
DC's
you live out there, right?
DC's a crapshoot, dude.
Oh man!
But it's better now, right?
real
With
bad.
the National Guard?
Well,
It was until the attack the other day.
Yeah, where they killed the one poor girl. Jesus.
Yeah, and shout out to these Virginia Air Guard. We live right over there, and so there's a really great restaurant just off at the airport in Martinsburg, and it's like one of the best breakfast spots. When you order sausage, it's real farm sausage. You can tell when they make it. The patties, it's amazing. And you go in there on the right day and you'll see all the West Virginia Air Guard sitting there eating with their families. And I have tremendous respect for these people. And it's so cool to see the bombers, just like the jets. You can see them from the window. So this hits pretty close to home, and it was pretty devastating for the community that this kind of attack happened. And the fact that these liberals attacked Trump and by proxy, these men and women saying they shouldn't have been out there in the first place and it wouldn't have happened. And it's like the fact that it happened shows that Trump was right.
Yeah.
The violence has gotten to this point. Okay? The problem is not that National Guard, that they were patrolling. The problem is that they're psychopaths killing people. So, but that's brutal. The good news is the young man, I guess, is recovering. He's starting to walk again.
Yeah.
So,
Thank God.
absolutely. All right, let's see. Mark Gaudet says Candace's husband is, what does it say, MNI6? You mean MI6? I have receipts.
I don't know. I just know how does he not come out and say things? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to keep ganging up on Candace. I just think that I want her to just be better.
It is telling, though,
Yeah.
that George doesn't say anything.
Anything. Scary.
It's very,
All right.
very, very telling.
Mark Blair says, Tim, would you address Pam Bondi and the DOJ defending the NFA and fighting to keep federal gun control in place, also claiming to be the most pro-Second Amendment DOJ in history? Hypocrites. Though I don't know if Pam Bondi ever came out and advocated for everyone to have guns. But if that's the case, I mean, the Trump administration should not be defending the NFA. The NFA is obviously unconstitutional. It is an absurdity that we literally have an amendment that says shall not be infringed, and they've literally infringed endlessly. Because it's not just the NFA, it's also, what was the updated one in the 80s?
The Sportsman Protection Act had the Hughes Amendment, which
The Hughes Amendment.
Yeah, the Hughes.
outlawed the possession or the private possession of new manufactured machine guns.
I want a full auto butterfly trigger 50 BMG on an APC in my rural backyard, and I just want to, and they can't tell me otherwise. Apparently they can.
Did they say the NFA was because of the mob? They were trying to combat the mob.
That's the history.
Yeah,
That
back
basically it was the Thompson, and so they're having a difficult time with these gangsters robbing banks and So they were like, we got to make it so you can't get it. At the time, a $200 tax was prohibitive because it's ridiculously
Back then it was
expensive.
equivalent to
$4,000.
They signed it the year after the business plot where they tried to have the coup on the businessmen tried to march 400,000 soldiers on the Capitol with Smedley Butler and throw a fascist
if it's
coup over
related.
It's 1 year later, like they're trying to take the guns away from people next. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, allegedly it was because of the machine guns, Tommy guns being used in Chicago and stuff like that. That was the argument that was made.
The argument that because criminals do bad things, I can't have freedom is a wrong argument.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Okay, and there's a lot of things that fit the description because I talk about. I do believe in there's some limits, right? We talked about this with Bonnie Blue. She banged 1,000 guys in 12 hours, and we asked her that be illegal, and I was the only one who said yes. Everybody,
How about what happened to her in ballet? They
released her. They released her.
I did.
My point is,
It was kind of funny though.
adults can go do consenting adult things. It's fine, but 1,000 people. I mean, there's an obscenity line where we're like, we don't want this to be pervasive in our society. You have done something extreme and egregious, and there's a limit.
She publicized it too. That's
Right.
a big difference than just doing it behind closed
I
doors.
have a couple of really close porn star friends, and they're really good people.
I'm just saying, 1,000
That's
people in
kinda
12
crazy.
hours
Yeah.
is where we're like, okay, we got to have a limit here.
Before you move on, if you're interested in something very similar to a machine gun, let me introduce you to force reset triggers.
Yeah, but aren't they coming after those too?
No, the Supreme
They
Court
lost?
actually saw those. I
Really?
didn't buy one until the Supreme Court ruled on them.
What are those?
So basically,
It's a forced
after the
reset
shot's
trigger.
fired, the trigger is forced to reset. So if you're holding your finger back, it'll just keep pulling the trigger back, and it's.
But you feel the trigger move, so it's actually actuating the reset. So
You
it's
just
not
squeeze, right?
it's not fully automatic, according to the
it's
law.
a very fast single fire.
It's very
right.
it
I've
simulates.
never owned a gun or shot a gun because I knew I probably killed myself 1,000 times already. So
Glad you made that decision.
It's a good decision.
All right,
to hear
everybody, you need to head over to rumble.com/Timcast IRL for the uncensored portion of the show. Use promo code TIM10. Sign up for Rumble Premium Annual right now. You'll save $10. The Andrew Tate fight is Saturday at 2 p.m. exclusively on Rumble. I am not going to miss this. I'm rooting for Andrew Tate. I understand there's a lot of criticism. I've been critical of some of the
I don't
things
know
he
who
said.
the guy he's fighting is,
but,
I can't. I
I
don't
just
know who to
I-
vote for. Root for.
I want to see him win. I want to see Andrew Tate win. It is what it is. I'm gonna a bunch of
You know,
people are
I
gonna
really
come after me and-
sometimes liked him a lot, and then I start to realizing like it because I can read through people. He's got a little grift to himself.
Sure.
You know.
He made a lot of money in crypto, but he said some things that I think are good. He has this speech that went viral where he said, "A rocket going to the moon doesn't stop halfway and take a break. You can't take a break. You've got to keep grinding. You got to work harder than you've ever worked." And I think it's a good message.
That's what I do respect about him. When he says
Yeah.
those things. You know.
And the funny point about how when you're rich, all you end up doing is looking for a better steak. Like the point he was making.
Speaking
there
of a
is-
better steak, I've got the steakhouse for you while you're in town.
All right, well, we'll
take
get that
you to-
going.
yeah.
But his point ultimately is like it's not all about the money. That there's a mission that people are on. So anyway, you can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Again, smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Graham, do you want to shout anything out?
Graham Allen, wherever you can Google it, X it, Instagram it, everywhere. Check out the show every day on Rumble only. The Graham Allen Show at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Right on, Mike.
Well, if you want to play poker, go to Club WPT Gold, promo code MOUTH, and you could you get on there and play for small stakes, for free stakes. And if you want to see the best poker documentary ever, you could go to Amazon Prime, which is my poker documentary called Matusow, Matusow. I promise you it will be the best documentary you've ever seen.
I've had people come up to me and ask me about you because of how entertained by the documentary they were.
I just had a woman when I was leaving, crying on my shoulder. She watched my documentary 7 times.
Wow.
She said, "What you did to me was so inspiring," and it really. I wanted to bring it up here because I said it touched my heart because I know what I went through. I know what I go through, and for somebody to this late, she was crying literally, and this happened at the World Series back in May. I had people come up to me crying. They love my documentary and stuff. So, the thing about my documentary, there's very little poker in it. It shows basically what we go through at the World Series, how taxing it is on us to play a full-time tournament schedule, and then it shows you like what I've been through since my injury and how hard it is for me to get out of bed every day to come here and the pain I deal with. And so I think you'll enjoy it. So that's Matusow.
It's Amazon. What is it? It's Matusow on Amazon?
Yeah, Matusow.
Thanks, dude.
You got it.
I'm at Ian Crossland. Follow me if you want to dive outside the realm of politics. Well, sometimes I talk politics too, get into spirituality, the psychoanalytical realm. Let's do it. And go to graphene.movie, where you can check out the upcoming graphene movie that I'm just going to call it Graphene Movie, I think. Went down to Rice University, interviewed amazing. In fact, Tucker Carlson just interviewed the scientist Jim Tour that I was down there working with like 3 days or 2 days, yesterday actually. Check out that interview with Tucker and Jim Tour, and you'll see a great documentary. It's coming up. Put your name in the email list, sign up, or put your email in the email list, and check this movie out when it comes out. Graphene.movie.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. Just announced today, All That Remains is hitting the road. April 29th, we're going for about a month. It's going to be us, All That Remains, Born of Osiris, and Dead Eyes. You can get tickets tomorrow for pre-sale at allthatremainsonline.com. They go live everywhere this Friday at noon. I guess Ticketmaster or whatever. But yeah, you can check out All That Remains music on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget, The Left Lane is for Crime.
We will see you all at rumble.com/TimcastIRL for the uncensored portion of the show. Thanks for hanging out.